We're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country, and that includes Baltimore.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says it's not about crime, it's about immigration.
Let's be clear, the terror and cruelty is the point, not the safety of anyone living here.
Trump's comments came the same day a federal judge in California ruled it was illegal to deploy troops to Los Angeles. CBS's Jake Rosen reports that won't apply to Chicago or Baltimore.
The injunction only applies to the Trump administration's use of the National Guard in California, not nationally, and it does not require that the Defense Department withdraw the 300 National Guard troops who remain in Los Angeles.
President Trump was asked today about a summit in China with leaders of North Korea and Russia and whether that concerned him.
China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know. But China needs us much more than we need them.
CBS's Ramy Inocencio reports there will be a display of military might and a summit parade tomorrow.
The optics of what we're seeing tomorrow with these leaders can definitely push this kind of narrative of China trying to push it as a resurgent counterweight to American power. President Xi in the past couple of days has been saying that they got to push back against hegemony. And when you hear that word, that is a code word for Washington.
In eastern Afghanistan, the death toll is pushed past 1,400 from the devastating earthquake. But the BBC's Yogita Lamaya reports the recovery will be complicated by the isolation.
The Taliban government has been appealing for international help. It's always said that humanitarian needs should not be politicized. However, its own policies, specifically its restrictions on women, will mean that a lot of donors will think twice before sending money to this country. Some people have responded to that appeal. We've heard the UN is releasing emergency funds.
A judge today rejected the government's demand that Google sell off its Chrome web browser as part of an antitrust case, but did order some changes to restore competition to online searches. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum.
Google is going to appeal this case, so nothing will be different for a while. But the ruling requires Google to share some of the data it acquires whenever people conduct a Google search.
The judge last year found Google illegally maintained monopolies in online search. The government pushed for Chrome's divestment, but the judge said that was an overreach. On Wall Street, stocks were lower. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, the city of Seattle sues a major gun maker. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, Aaron, Global Credit Union brings us this one. Everett to Marysville doing good right now, 15 minutes. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are both pushing 40 minutes. 405, you're crowded through Kirkland and Totem Lake, starting near Northeast 85th. North 5 slows between Northgate and Mount Lake Terrace. South 5 looking great heading into Seattle. In fact, you won't run into a backup until you hit the Ship Canal Bridge. Linwood to Seattle, a 20-minute drive. North 5 jams up approaching the West Seattle Bridge. Bellevue to Renton, 25 minutes. Seattle to Federal Ways, 45. It's heavy from MLK Junior Way all the way down to State Route 516. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeways, a 50-minute commute. And Tacoma to Olympia, you're wide open, taking just 35 minutes. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. The city of Seattle is suing gun maker Glock. Details from KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
Seattle City Attorney Ann Davison accuses Glock of making handguns that can be easily converted into illegal machine guns using a device called a Glock switch. Davison says modified guns can fire 30 rounds in 2 seconds, and they're showing up more often these days at crime scenes. She wants Glock to redesign its weapons to prevent those conversions. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
And we have reached out to Glock for comments. Pierce County Sheriff under fire for a controversial post on X asking followers whether it's time to ban transgender people from owning guns. Keith Swank posed the question just days after the school shooting in Minnesota, where that shooter was trans. He defended the post on the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red.
I'm for free speech. I would think that most of the people who are deputies on the Pierce County Sheriff's Office wouldn't put out something as provocative as me. But if they wanted to, they asked me for permission, we could discuss the pros and cons of it, and I would, probably let him do it.
Now, Swank also replied online to KIRO News Radio saying, quotes, "I am the sheriff. I can say whatever I want." Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell says he's taking steps to curb cost on light rail expansions to Ballard and West Seattle. His comments today coming after Sound Transit announced a potential $30 billion construction shortfall.
The voters trusted us to deliver this generational investment, and that's indeed what it is, and we will not let them down. We can solve these challenges if we work together.
Harrell says one idea to save money, streamline the permitting process. Well, it is back to school in the Bellevue School District today. That district has seen its shares of money problems lately. KIRO 7 TV's Renji Sinha spoke with Superintendent Kelly Aromaki.
Bellevue Schools has sold property for $30 million, and other infusions of cash mean the district could solve its budget problems in a few years.
That is the light at the end of the tunnel for us. It's going to really help us.
Aromaki says launching a Japanese language program at Bennett Elementary shows that the district can meet new educational goals while also trying to balance the books.
That district was recently forced to cut about 100 positions. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunny skies this afternoon. Tomorrow, more morning clouds before afternoon sunshine with highs in the mid to upper 70s. Right now looking at 73 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
My name is London. I'm here to find my soulmate. At this point, I'm thinking just about anyone would be just fine. Anybody that can spend the time with me is somebody worth spending time with. So the perfect first date would involve a beach. And so I might take my date to the pier. We may stroll upon the pier and enjoy a soft pretzel.
Okay, good. There we go. We'll hear more from London later. In search of a soulmate or just about anyone will do. Thank you for that, Andrew. Nice to have everybody back here at KIRO Radio.
Yeah.
Surprised they were all able to find their desks after their long weekend. Live again, dive again on the news. Here we go, back to the bottom of the ship. It is the John Curley Show, brought to you by John Curley, Joe, and Andrew, and Nate. Spread the blame around, and Aaron. Here comes news. At least what we think is news. We have to make a big edit in the show here because we realize we're getting too heavy. Joe likes to say, hey, we'll have more fun stuff. So we'll change something up. All right, I was thinking, I'll tell you about first day of school for me. 6 years old. Still suffering some traumatic brain injury from what happened to me on the bus. But we'll also talk about the day in history. And it was yesterday that Hitler invaded Poland. I wanted to look up some more stuff about Hitler. And I like the fact that he said, I'm not taking a paycheck. He had a German accent. I'm not taking a paycheck. Well, anyway, never mind. Just more on that. Plus, the deputy Green Party leader, is this in Germany?
No, UK.
Okay. I can do a UK accent. He asked to answer the question. Apparently, he was able to do hypnotherapy on women, and it's coming back to haunt him. And Trump says, hey, we're going into Chicago. And the mayor of Chicago said, not so fast. And then you have the governor of Illinois saying, we don't need you here. We'll find out what Trump's move is. The Supreme Court is trying to stop him on a few things, but it looks like he might have Chicago in his sights. Here's the change. So those of you that are reading this at home, I don't know how you got it. This is our rundown.
Ooh. You're not supposed to get that.
How did I get that? We had something heavy and planned in there, and then we thought, screw that. So rage rooms are all the rage. They are illegal in California because they don't want you breaking anything that could have toxic chemicals in it. But for some reason, Jacob, one of the most passive human beings I know that still has a pulse, is going to a rage room.
Ooh. I play pickleball sometimes.
It's going to be a little different. Bring your pickleball racket. Plus, also, if you were conjoined and like at the neck, I think they're conjoined at the neck, So these two individuals conjoined, they're working for somewhere, but they don't get two salaries. They only get one salary. Seems unfair to me.
Me too.
That and a whole bunch of other stuff. All right, I was thinking, and I want to share this with you. It was the first day of school, and I was 6 years old. 6! Why did my mom say something? My mom's problem is she had the child's heart that blinded her to the cruelty of the rest of the world. At least it blinded her to the 8 back seats of bus 47. It was on darkened days when you let your mind wander to the unaccompanied places where the soul doesn't want to go, to those shadowy places where only evil exists. You'll find yourself in the back row of bus 47 in the last 8 seats. I know one of the rules of radio is never you're supposed to mention someone's name for fear that you could have retribution in the form of a lawsuit and things like that. But I'm pretty much sure that Mark Dumbrow is securely ensnailed in the gnarled trees and poked by the harpies. That would be in the 7th level of Dante's hell. You see, my brother, my sister, and I were the last picked up before going to Ashbridge Park. The park was the transfer area for the buses. It was only 3 miles from our home on Fishers Road, but Dumbrow, perfect name now I think about it, and his minions only needed about 3 miles to inflict pain and suffering, restricted only for the most devious imaginations. I don't know which one of them saw my new lunchbox, but it took only minutes for 2 sounds to start seeping from the darkened corners of the last 8 seats of bus 47. Sounds like that. I wasn't sure what it was at first, who it was intended to harm, but I knew if it was coming from the back of the bus, there was going to be trouble. And then I didn't need to look back, and they started singing, "Flipper, Flipper, I'm in the ocean, I'm in your ear, Flipper's in your rear." And everybody laughs. It was my lunchbox, my Flipper lunchbox. That was the target of the mockery. I picked it up from my seat beside me. I cradled it in my lap in an attempt to stop it. My brother, in the seat across from me, looked over with his shiny new Beatles yellow submarine lunchbox, the lunchbox that I wanted, the lunchbox that I choose at Ott's just earlier that week. But I agreed to trade with my brother an hour ago, just before my mom packed our lunches and put it in the kitchen. You see, he was crying, didn't want to go to school. Suddenly, he didn't like Flipper anymore. No more Flip. He said, "I don't like Flipper. I don't like to go to Flipper. I want a different lunchbox." I like Flipper, so I said, well, it's not that big of a sacrifice. Besides, it was the beginning of the school year, and I was ready to be a different person, more organized, attentive, caring, a good Catholic school child. So I thought I would make a sacrifice, and it would be something I could brag about later on. Now, we didn't have the "what would Jesus do" question back then, but I'm sure Jesus would have traded Flipper for the Beatles submarine. No, let me think about this. I don't think Jesus would have traded Flipper, because I don't think he would have liked the Beatles' mop-top haircuts. So we switched. My brother and I, our eyes locked just long enough for me not to notice that nearly now half the bus was singing "Flipper, Flipper, everyone loves the King of the Sea. Tricks he will do when children appear, and how they laugh when he's," and with this, Mark Dumbrow bellows out, "when he's in your rear." In your rear. That is somehow not how the song went, but it didn't matter because everybody joined in and they erupted with laughter. A dolphin in your ear was apparently so funny that it was repeated over and over and over and over again. My brother didn't move. He was frozen in his seat, moving only to turn his head away from me and stare out the window. He knew the truth. It was his lunchbox. He chose it. This was all meant for him. He was the one that should have the big fish in his rear. The man that owned Ott's agreed to exchange the Flipper for my Lost in Space lunchbox at no extra charge. And my mom bought me the Rock'em Sock'em Robots for being such a good brother. Flipper was gone, back on the shelf, back where he belonged. But the damage was done. And now, whenever I hear that song, all I can think about is the poor boy that had a fish in his ass. Joe, I believe, do you have the song? Will you play it for me?
I will.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy!
They call him Flipper, faster than lightning. No one you see is smarter than he. And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonder, lying there under the sea.
Oh, there's the sound. Oh, this is the abridged version. Yeah, second verse is about children are near, something to fear, something like that. Yeah. And I was thinking about the first day of school for so many kids. By the way, this is the state of Washington now. We'll join 27 other states where kids are not allowed to have their cell phones in school. So maybe that might help a little bit. The state of Washington said they leave it up to the districts. Other states said no. The governor simply wrote the law or the executive order or whatever they were doing in other states, like in Florida and Texas. And they didn't leave it up to the districts. It just came bang down that there will be no more cell phones in school. There's a few that sort of remain neutral on this. I think there's about 5 altogether that said, well, if you want to bring your phone into school, I think this is great. I think this is a really great idea. Now, they got to make sure that the kids that are bringing their phones in, I don't know if they're doing the old lock it in the box kind of thing or you got to hand it in. Because let me tell you what happens. When I sent my kids on a Christian summer retreat, I sent all 3. I sent Charlie and Rye, and we adopted my nephew Ross, and I sent him away. And they flew from Seattle to Atlanta. They were there in Atlanta, and then they got on a bus. My God, I didn't really do much research on this place. I drove them all the way up to Chicago. Well, they collected all their phones ahead of time, but Ross was smart enough to bring a dummy phone. So he threw his phone into the bucket, and all the other phones were taken. But then he had his real phone with him. The phone that he threw into the bucket was his fake phone. So then whenever they would let the kids have the phone for 1 hour once a week, poor Ross was stuck staring at a broken phone with a smashed up screen while everybody else was looking. But it didn't matter because he had the phone for the rest of the day, right? So the rest of the time he had his phone. So this school starting without phones, I think will be great as long as the kids can't find some sort of other way around it. But there's no reason for kids to have a phone in school. When you see these parents, well, I need to get in touch with them if there's an emergency. You can get in touch with them. Don't worry about it. It's fine. The kid's going to be fine. You got to be able to get in touch. You don't need to be in touch with your kid all the time. Besides, your kid is probably sending you to voicemail or ignoring your text messages when they're doing other stuff on the phone. So brilliant move. Hopefully more states will follow this rule and actually be able to enforce them. So smart move all around. And as far as those kids on those buses, nobody has lunch boxes anymore. They outlawed those things.
What?
The metal lunch boxes. Guess why?
Kids were hitting other kids?
Yes. Yes. They were hitting him with it, right? So they had to get rid of the metal lunch boxes.
What about plastic?
Then they went to plastic lunch boxes. And then the kids don't carry plastic lunch boxes anymore. They don't even bring lunches from school. But the lunch box, the classic metal lunch box, now you can buy one on eBay if you can possibly find them. If they're in great shape, you can get them for they sell them for $2,000. But you used to get the lunch box and then you got the thermos.
Yep.
The thermos was only good for about 3 weeks until you dropped the lunch box and then the glass inside the thermos shattered. Or the worst part was you left the milk in the thermos throughout the entire weekend. And then my mom, unfortunately, would have to open the thing up as toxic gases would come up. And she, whoa! Or you'd leave a tuna fish sandwich in there over the weekend. It was a nasty trick. But it was great. A lunchbox was just part of life. And when you'd stand in Ott and you stare at all the choices, you're like, who am I this year? Am I Jen Ben? Do I want a giant bear on my back? Or do I want to be on a bear's back? Or do I want to be the Partridge Family or the Beatles? Like, what best encapsulates who I am? 2 years later, Evel Knievel, without a doubt, the best lunchbox I ever had. I didn't mind being Evel Knievel for the entire year.
I was A-Team is the only lunchbox that I can distinctly remember, and I was pretty proud of that one.
Yes, that's a good one. A-Team's strong.
Also, I just want to point out that your good deed was eventually rewarded. You got the Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yes, I did.
So,
Got the red guy, got the blue guy, Rock'em Sock'em, basically indestructible toy. That was great, so it all worked out for me in the end. But the other part of it was my mom went to the store one day and bought me a Mighty Mac jacket. And I think they still might make Mighty Mac jackets. And for some reason, I don't know why I needed to smell it, but it smelled like egg salad. So I'm on the bus another day, and I'm sitting there. This is after the whole flipper incident. I think it was probably in second grade. And some kid, probably again from the back of the bus, yelled, "Somebody smells like egg salad." So then I was like sitting there going, well, that's unfortunate, whoever that kid is. And then I start noticing, damn, it's this jacket. This Mighty Mac jacket smells like egg salad. Ugh. I'm sitting there just cursing my mom. And then the one kid from the back of the bus gets up and starts walking around. Comes right up to me. That's you, egg boy. And every time I get on the bus after that day, egg boy, you got to sit in the aisle. And I was like, where's the adult driving this bus that there's such anarchy that I'm forced to sit in the aisle because I smell like egg salad sandwiches? Yum. Oh, shush, Tatey. And then from that day on, that jacket on, every time I go shopping with my mother, I'd have to smell my clothes.
It's a good call. If today was your first day of school, it would definitely be your Joshua Tree sucks shirt that would be getting you harassed by the other kids.
No, those kids don't. Yeah, they're all getting sucked in by the Joshua Tree. Then I realized the big back of the thing has got a giant Joshua Tree.
Well, and then you customized it so it's like the no Joshua
International
Tree
sign, yeah.
But then you wrote sucks like the.
I know. I overcommitted.
I can't believe you wear that thing.
I kind of like the shirt. Here's Nate. Take a look at traffic for us. Nathan.
Yes, sir. Lake Washington Windows and Doors has the update. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both shot up to 50 minutes. 405 is crowded through Kirkland and Totem Lake. North 5 is crowded from Lake City Way through Linwood. Linwood to Seattle still looking pretty good at 25 minutes. Seattle to Federal Way is inched up, though. We're at 50 minutes, and it is heavy from MLK Junior Way all the way down to State Route 516. Once you get into Federal Way, South 5, just before State Route 18, we've got a new collision involving a transit bus blocking the HOV lane. Renton to Puyallup is filling in as well. We're at 50 minutes, and it's pretty solid now between Renton and Puyallup. You catch a little break in Auburn near Emerald Downs. Outside of that, though, the commute's looking very usual out there. Lake Washington Windows Autumn Savings Event is on now. Save $500 per window, $1,000 per door, plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Let me tell you something. I know what it's like. You're watching your hair begin to thin. The crown disappears. That hair loss just to rob you of your identity. That's exactly how I felt before I visited Advanced Hair. You see, Advanced Hair, they've got this simple one-day treatment. They regrow my own natural hair. They do the exact same thing for you. So as you're thinking about the fact that your hair is going away, you got a bunch of options. Here's what I did. When I heard about Advanced Hair, and I went in there, and they were so nice. Because I felt kind of silly, like, is this really making a big deal about this? They're like, no, fix this if it's bothering you. They're great, absolutely the best. Just simply explaining exactly how the procedure worked. And then, sure enough, I get my hair back. Just like they say, guaranteed. So the best thing for you to do right now is to set up a free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts just waiting for you at 425-449-8185. You don't want to wait because your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Congratulations, guys. 425-449-8185 or visit advancedhair.com.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO Newsradio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM, powered by mynorthwest.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Wow, it's so good to finally be back home.
Is it me, or is it musty?
Oh, damp. Check the bathroom.
Damp!
The basement?
Damp! Wait!
Yeah?
I'm ordering damp bread!
So we don't have to move?
Eliminate damp, musty smells by trapping excess moisture. Get rid of the damp with Damp Rid.
From the roof to the deck, the siding to the gutters, and energy-efficient windows, State Roofing and Exteriors is your one-stop shop for home protection. With over 55 years serving Western Washington, we don't just work here, we live here. We know what your home is up against when the cold sets in and the rain starts falling. Right now, we're making it easier than ever to get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the final days of Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale. Up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Ends Monday. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
You've worked hard, saved diligently, and now retirement is on the horizon. But will your nest egg go the distance? With rising cost and uncertain markets, there's no time for oversimplified plans. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The Seattle Public School District is set to welcome back students tomorrow as it navigates a series of challenges. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more from Kimball Elementary.
Interim Superintendent Fred Podesta says SPS will focus this year on early education, better math skills for middle schoolers, and access to higher education for graduates.
It's really a joyful day, the first day of school, so welcoming students, welcoming teachers. Teachers have been working hard to get their classrooms ready.
However, SPS still faces an $80 million structural budget shortfall next year and an unfinished new strategic plan. At Kimball Elementary in South Seattle, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
And right now, the district is considering fewer bus routes and larger classrooms next school year to balance the budget. Public health data that disappeared from government websites is coming back online. That information vanished after President Trump signed executive orders to remove gender ideology and DEI programs. The Washington State Medical Association and other groups sued. They said all kinds of data had disappeared.
And it's not gone because it was wrong, and it's not gone because it was outdated. It's gone because of a political pressure from the administration.
The association's president, John Bromhall, tells us under a settlement that information is supposed to be put back online. Security officers across King County say they might strike. The members of SEIU 6 rejected a contract offer that they say included a 30-cent raise. They protect major sites like hospitals, tech campuses, and transit centers. Talks resume later this month. Amazon cracking down on its free shipping policy for Prime members. CBS's Matt Piper explains.
Amazon is ending a program that allows those with Prime to share their free shipping benefits with people who do not have the same address. Users instead will have Amazon Family, which lets them share Prime benefits with one other adult, but they have to share the same address. The free shipping sharing will end October 1st, and it's encouraging users outside the household of the account holder to sign up for their own Prime subscription, which costs about $140 a year.
Coming up on 3:32 now, we go to the real-time traffic desk. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, this report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance in Federal Way, South 5, just before State Route 18. We've got a crash involving a transit bus, now blocking 2 left lanes. This includes the HOV lane, and traffic really starts to back up way back at the Duwamish curve. Seattle to Federal Way is up to 55 minutes. Renton to Puyallup on 167, about 50 minutes now, and you're pretty solid from Renton all the way down into Puyallup. Tacoma to Olympia, though, is looking good today, just 45 minutes. Bellevue to Everett just hit the 1 hour mark, and it is thick through Kirkland. Looks like at 124th, we've got some sort of blocking problem. Traffic comes to a halt there. Seattle to Everett's at 50 minutes, and Linwood to Seattle, 25 minutes. You're wide open until you hit the U District. From there, it jams up into downtown. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We'll see the trend of morning clouds and afternoon sunshine continue this week. It'll be a bit warmer along the foothills. That's where there is a heat advisory in effect. Otherwise, look for highs in the mid to upper 70s. Right now, 74 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
There we go. 1-888-973-5476. Come on in, everybody. Be a part of the show. Teeny Tiny's going to do the letter of the day. But don't forget, Home Comfort Alliance, when it comes to heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric, there's probably only one place I can think of. We'll go around the horn. Can anybody else name any other company that you'd need to call for plumbing, heating, cooling, and electric? Anyone.
Look at these beautiful flowers.
Okay, Teeny, that's not what we're talking about. Anyone. Buc-ee's, no, not good. Good guess, though. Nope. Anyway.
Wilcox, Family Farm Eggs.
Great eggs. Good eggs. Yes. Good eggs. Not good with plumbing, heating, cooling, electrics. But don't put an egg in your heating cooling.
State Roofing.
State Roofing. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Good. All right.
No.
Nope. I'm going to go with Home Comfort Alliance. Thank you. Okay. This day in history. 1789. Congress founds the U.S. Treasury. With Hamilton, right? Remember that?
Yes.
All right. 1939. Germany invades Poland, started the biggest war in history. By the way, we won that one.
Did we?
Back to back.
Nice.
World War I and II.
Stacking dubs.
1944. Couple W's. 1944, Navy aviator George H. Bush and his squadron is attacked. 1945, Japan surrenders, bringing the end of World War II. 1969, the first U.S. ATM opens for business. Ooh. May I say something about that? You know, Nick used to sell those ATM machines. And we have friends. Actually, we got rid of a lot of friends. I noticed after the lockdown happened, we were able to jettison a lot of people that used to be friends. We're going to start all over again. Yeah, kind of tilling them into the soil of relationship. New people sprung up. But we knew this couple. They owned ATM machines. And we're talking to the guy. I'm like, I'm thinking he probably doesn't make much money with this. I was like, how do you do with that? Does that make any money putting ATM machines in? Guy's like, put it this way. 6 transactions. If I only do 6 a day, I make $15. I was like, okay. And then he said, but I'm doing like 400 a day in that one store, doing 300 in the other. I was like, okay. All right, Mr. Richie Rich. You make good money with that stuff. Putting the ATM machines in. All right, back to it. 1969, first ATM. 1995, Michael Jackson earns his 12th and final solo #1 with You Are Not Alone. I remember that one, do you?
Yeah.
You Are Not Alone?
I can't remember exactly how it goes, but yes, I remember.
Okay. A creepy song you probably sang to some of those kids in the bed. And then 2013, Diane Nyad, she's 64 years old, and she swims from Cuba to Florida without a shark cage in the open waters. And then they went ahead and made a movie about it. Anyway, is that a bad movie? All right. I am going to go with Germany invading Poland. So Hitler had the big plan. He said, what we got, the big plan is we got to make sure we're expanding our living space east and making sure we've got good food supply to sufficiently feed everybody in all the settled areas. So he needed to get into Poland. Now, of course, Neville Chamberlain said, well, they're not going to cross the Rhine, and you don't have to worry about it. I've got Hitler on his word that they're not expanding anything, don't worry about. Well, tell that to the Poles, because the Germans came in with 1.5 million troops, 2,750 tanks, 2,315 aircraft, and 9,000 guns. And they began their big tank attacks. They would come in with these tanks and just blast away at everybody. They had air support, and Poland put up with only 1 million possible soldiers. They couldn't get them all in place at the time. And prior to the invasion, they had a false flag attack. They said the Poles went in and destroyed this radio station. Is that enough of a reason? I mean, would any other country go to war if they destroyed like KVI? I mean, they're doing it on their own. But would anybody go to war if KVI were suddenly out off the air? No, absolutely not. And here we go.
Stream across the River San. This was part of the river line which the invading army forced in its flanking drive through southern Poland. The Nazi Führer makes a quick tour in the conquered nation, among the soldiers in captured towns. In the city of Lodz, and on top of the car, guards with drawn pistols. In a cloud of dust, and then through the clouds of the sky, by plane, Hitler flies to survey what he has done, the destruction of a nation. Poland divided between the Nazi Germans and the Soviets. He has an air view of the devastation that he decreed. A bombarded Polish flying field.
Yeah, you get the general idea.
This was exciting back then.
I looked up to see. I don't know why this came to me, but what did Hitler make a year? Well, he told everybody, "I'm not going to take a salary. I don't need a salary. It's not important. I am here just to serve the fatherland." But here's what he was able to kind of get us some money. He wrote Mein Kampf. And what he decided to do was 1933, the sale of the book, Mein Kampf skyrockets because he receives royalties, but he mandated that copies be given to all newlyweds. That's a fine gift.
They have to pay for it?
I wonder what we got from the Fuhrer. Yeah, they had to pay for it. And the annual savings, the annual earnings from the book were alone to be substantial. So it was like, I'm not going to take a salary, but I'm going to force everybody to read my book. And then he also came up with this idea that he wanted his face on all the stamps. He ordered his portrait be placed on all German postage stamps, collecting a royalty for that. with everyone that was sold, tens of millions of dollars, or German marks, anyway, went to Hitler because he was on all the stamps. He also received lots of corporate handouts from people that wanted to stay in his good graces. And then finally, he was also big on tax evasion. In 1935, they sent him a bill for 400,000 Rheinmarks in back taxes. He simply declared himself to be tax exempt. So I like the fact that he forces everybody to have to buy his book. Not a good guy. Not a good guy. No.
I know that we're very opposed to the Trump-Hitler comparisons, but aren't there some funny similarities there? The no salary.
Well, he honestly doesn't take a salary.
No, yeah, but just
okay. All right, here we go.
The Trump Bible, right?
You sell that. You can buy the Trump Bible. Okay, this is getting thin, but go ahead, keep going.
What about the Trump coin, the cryptocurrency that they made $6 billion off of?
They're making money off of it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the difference is, what do you want to compare him to Hitler?
No. This is
no. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right.
It's just fun coincidences.
I know. So it's when presidents use their power and use their position to make money, right?
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, God, if I had a drug-addicted son that had zero skills, but if I could get him on like a gas and energy board somewhere, I don't know, in a really corrupt country, and then have him, or maybe China send millions of dollars, that's crazy talk. That'll never work.
That's crazy.
Yeah, listen, you ever seen how Johnson made all his money? His wife was able to gather up all these radio stations. And then when Johnson was working there in Texas, I think they passed a law with his help that they were able to put all these she was able to buy all these radio stations, even though prior to it she wasn't able to.
You couldn't own.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, what do you know? Look at all of the radio stations. Look at all the money we have. And we're here, are you suckers just slinging through all this news with all these other. You should just go into politics and make all the money on their own, right? I'm taking all of you with you, including you, Nate. You're coming with us, and with all your 3 Snickers bars.
What did I do with 2 of those?
You gave them back.
That's right.
Thank you, Nate.
You're welcome.
There's traffic.
All right, let's see. This report brought to you by the KIRO Radio Rundown. Let's start up north in Everett, northbound I-5, just before State Route 526, the Boeing Freeway. We've got a new collision blocking 2 left lanes. Federal Way, South 5, just before State Route 18, a crash involving a transit bus blocks your 2 left lanes. You're backed up to the Duwamish Curve. Seattle to Federal Way is up to a 1-hour commute. Now, Renton to Puyallup, if you're thinking of the Valley Freeway as an alternate route, that's at 50 minutes, and it's pretty solid between Renton and Puyallup. Westbound 90 at the entrance of the Mount Baker Tunnel, we've got a disabled Sound Transit bus blocking your right lane. You're backed up across the lake. Bellevue to Everett is at 1 hour. It's thick through Kirkland into Totem Lake. Seattle to Everett's at 50 minutes. It's crowded from Lake City Way into Linwood. Bellevue to Renton, a half hour, and you're packed from 520 to the VMAC. Linwood to Seattle will take you 25 minutes. Text newsletter to 888-973-5476 and subscribe to the daily KIRO News Radio Rundown. Get the latest news and updates from your favorite KIRO News Radio shows straight to your inbox. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Cold is leaking and rocks are moving and mold is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So you and I have talked before about the folks who think they can do this themselves. And again, I imagine there are a lot of people who are saying, well, new administration, fewer staff members, now I truly can get it done.
Really, in this situation, I do feel really bad for the taxpayer because here you're getting a notice. You call the IRS, you're going to be on hold for 45 minutes to an hour. And so getting through is going to be more difficult. And when you do get through, you're going to be talking to people that are not as well trained as they have been in the past.
Which makes it even easier for them to take advantage, even if it's not intended, against the person who owes taxes.
I've heard it said that they just will make up something because they want to respond to the taxpayer. And people are going to get some really bad information and they're not going to know.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Homeowners, federal tax credits on heat pumps end soon. Home Comfort Alliance can help you save up to 75% on new in-stock heat pumps with combined discounts, utility rebates, and expiring federal tax credits on systems installed by December 31st. These are new in-stock high-efficiency models that will make your home comfortable year-round. Federal tax credits expire December 31st, so don't wait. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, it's Home Comfort Alliance, the comfort people.
Bathfitter just hit a big milestone, 42,000 installations in Western Washington. Celebrate with payments as low as $125 a month. A beautiful bath installed in one day, no mess, and a lifetime warranty. Call Bathfitter or visit bathfitternw.com today.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
everybody. We love the fact that you listen to the show, and those of you on the YouTube, for some reason you enjoy it there and you like to get in there and mix it up. Joe will be monitoring you because apparently some of you are not behaving yourselves. And not that, what does it mean you monitor them?
I take a peek every now and then.
And then what happens?
It's just chaos.
Okay.
No,
well, we don't knock people out like other shows here at KIRO. They block people and stuff. And then we get our listeners like, hey, I got blocked on that other show. Then we got to unblock it, right?
That did happen. Yes, that has happened. Shout out to Elliot in Seattle.
Sorry, Elliot. I don't know what you did to offend somebody else in some other show, but you're always welcome here with whatever is on your mind. So the deputy of the Green Party, now just elected, so they were going to get in there and just take over. They said to the Labor Party, we're not here to work with you. We're here to replace you. So they've got a new guy in there. How old is he? He seems quite young. And he has quite the background. He is Muslim. He was an actor for a while. Then he decided he picked up a different last name. But he was also known, he's known in some of the UK rags as the boob whisperer. Here's why.
Do you still believe that women's breasts can be enlarged through hypnotherapy?
And unfortunately, we've run out of time to find the answer.
It's only 42, by the way.
I've never believed that. That doesn't represent my work or anything I've ever done. And you shouldn't believe what you read in The Sun.
Right. So you didn't charge £222 for a 90-minute session where you got women to visualise themselves with bigger breasts?
No, I absolutely have never charged for that. As I say, don't read what you've...
You have held those sessions in which you have asked women to visualise themselves with bigger breasts through hypnotherapy in order to see them enlarged.
Wow, this is good stuff. See, now, so the guy said, did you charge this amount of money? And then he said, no, I never did that. So now you're going to hear the truth.
As I've said, none of that represents my work, and I wouldn't believe what you read in The Sun. This was 11 years ago, sorry. Wasn't involved in politics at all. And I'll make a wider point. I'm someone who was working as an actor, a barman, I worked as a waiter, I worked in the front door of nightclubs, and indeed, I worked as a hypnotherapist too. I think that actually means I've got much varied experience.
That's fantastic. Yes, good luck to you. It's just what you were doing in those activities, which I see you have apologised for.
Wow. He's really grilling him on the boob therapy.
So what have you apologised for if The Sun have made it up?
I apologise because I recognise that would be offensive to people, but again, does not represent my work and does not represent me.
So you did, though, have women come through your door, doing hypnotherapy on them to see if they could enlarge their breasts?
Well, you asked me a different question. You asked me if I ever charged for that. No, I didn't.
There you go.
Got him.
Darn it.
Wow.
And then the follow-up is, did it work?
I doubt it. I mean,
he didn't do any of that sort of stuff. Yeah. So the guy's in there. The Green Party, if you understand how it works in UK, Labour, the Conservatives, they're having a real problem with immigration. This guy would like to be able to have people come to the UK, and he wants to help them get there in safer manner, and is actually asking for more immigration to the UK. And they see that as a way of helping to keep the economy going. But there's a bunch of people also there that feel as if they're losing their culture, and Great Britain is slowly fading away as more and more immigrants come in and don't necessarily assimilate to the old British ways. Let's go to Nate over there and check and track. Oh, I almost said it. You see that? I caught myself. So I don't want to end up on the board.
He got a new one yesterday, by the way. You had already left, Andrew.
What's that?
A new Beacon Plumbing.
Yeah,
he did.
We got it. We don't need to dwell on mistakes. Here's Nate looking at traffic. Nathan?
All right, if you're heading to Lake City Way, northbound on I-5, that off-ramp to Lake City Way is fully blocked from a collision inside that tunnel right now. Westbound 90 at the entrance to the Mount Baker Tunnel, a disabled Sound Transit bus blocks your right lane. You're backed up heading into the Mercer Tunnel. Bellevue to Seattle will take you a half hour. It's only 15 minutes going westbound on 520. Bellevue to Everett, 55 minutes. You're slow from Kirkland into Bothell. It's bumper to bumper through Kirkland. Seattle to Everett is up to 55 minutes as well. Now you're slow at Lake City Way through Linwood, and then this backup is about to connect to that South Everett backup. Bellevue to Renton, a half hour. Linwood to Seattle's 25 minutes. Once you get to Everett, North 5 at 526, a collision blocks your 2 left lanes. You're backed up to 128 Southwest. That's our issue there in South Everett. South 5 and Federal Way, just before State Route 18, a crash involving a transit bus blocks your 2 left lanes. You're backed up all the way into Tukwila. Seattle to Federal Way is up to 1 hour. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway has gone up to 55 minutes. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, if you are in a marriage and you love your life and you want to see the grandkids, you got your kids and everything's sort of lining up properly for you, and you just would like to have more years, longer longevity, how about Longevity Medical Clinic? For 25 years, the doctors there have been using the latest science to be able to take you and slow down the aging process. It works. It really does. I've been a patient since 2009, and it's pretty simple for me. All I have to do is do 4 blood draws a year. Very simple, about 10 minutes altogether. And then I get on the phone with my doctor for about 45 minutes to an hour, 5 times a year. And my good doctor walks through all of the numbers, and she holds me accountable for what I'm eating, how much exercise, how much sleep, how I'm dealing with stress, because there are sort of little teeny tiny breadcrumbs that leave a trail that will show whether or not heart disease, diabetes, or cancer is catching up to you. So Longevity Medical Clinic and you work together to give you a longer life so that you can enjoy the grandkids, the kids, your wife, your husband, and just enjoy your life. Take the free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Switching bath soap from sandalwood to tropical essence? That's glamping in the rainforest. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway near SeaTac. Tolling soon. Free Good to Go sticker pass at goodtogo509.com.
The Jake and Spike Show.
If you are watching on YouTube, you're going to see a giant snake here in just a minute.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
Monroe Reptile Zoo in with us right now. Isaac Peterson joins us.
This is linguini. It's a Burmese python, albino Burmese python.
Albino Burmese python.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Spike is going to wear him. There we go.
I made the really bad mistake of eating a live mouse before the segment, and maybe he smells it on my breath.
Most people don't get comfortable with Spike that quickly.
No, I know. It takes most of my co-hosts at least a year.
Watch the Jake and Spike Show live on YouTube or the KIRO Newsradio app.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder. Looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest.
Federal intervention in Chicago.
We're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in.
U.S. strike in southern Caribbean.
The U.S. military shot down a boat coming from Venezuela carrying drugs.
Space Command moving to Alabama.
Forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. President Trump says he is sending federal troops to another Democratic-controlled city. CBS's Linda Kenyon.
President Trump has declared Washington, D.C. as crime-free after he sent in National Guard troops. Chicago, he said, is next.
I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, "Sir, we need help. It's out of control." And everyone knows it is.
Illinois congressional leaders have called that executive branch overreach. Earlier, a judge ruled the president's June deployment of the military into Los Angeles was unlawful. A White House spokesman called him, quote, a rogue judge trying to usurp the authority of the commander-in-chief. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says of the president's announcement,
"None of this is about fighting crime or making Chicago safer. None of it. For Trump, it's about testing his power and producing a political drama to cover up for his corruption."
President Trump has also hinted at possible federal intervention in Baltimore. The U.S. carries out a strike on a vessel that left Venezuela.
We just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat.
President Trump says 11 Tren de Aragua gang members have been killed. CBS's Olivia Rinaldi.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on X that the vessel is being operated by a designated narco-terrorist organization. They said it was a lethal strike. This is the first military action strikes that we have seen since there has been an amassing of these ships in the waters off of Venezuela. So quite notable there. Maduro, the leader of Venezuela, said yesterday that they are at maximum preparedness to respond if attacked.
U.S. Space Command is being moved to Huntsville, Alabama from Colorado. President Trump cites mail-in voting as a reason to move the headquarters away from Colorado Springs. And
this will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. And that's billions, because it can't be millions. It's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it.
Stocks fall on Wall Street under the weight of rising pressure from the bond market. The Dow closed down 249 points. The Nasdaq sank 176. Now this.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Coming up, billions of dollars short. Seattle's mayor presents his plan to save money for Sound Transit. That's after Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Aaron. This report brought to you by Global Credit Union and Federal Way, South 5. Things just got worse. At South 320th, we've got a disabled vehicle blocking the HOV lane. Then just down the road, right before 18, we've got this long-term crash involving a transit bus blocking the HOV lane as well. So you're backed up bumper to bumper to the Boeing Access Road. Seattle to Federal Way just spiked to an hour and a half Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeways at 55 minutes. Still pretty solid, though, from Renton all the way into Puyallup. Up in Lake City, North 5 at Lake City Way, collision blocks the right lane near the off-ramp. Looks like you can still access that off-ramp. Westbound 90 as you head into the Mount Baker Tunnel. A disabled Sound Transit bus is blocking your right lane, and you're backed up onto Mercer Island. Up in Everett, North 5 at State Route 526, a collision blocks 2 left lanes. You're bumper to bumper, almost down to 164th and Linwood now. Bellevue to Everett and Seattle to Everett just hit the 1 hour mark. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. As Sound Transit prepares for a $30 billion construction shortfall, Seattle's mayor announces a plan that he says will prevent delays and streamline costs. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch reports.
Mayor Harrell says light rail expansion was approved by voters and they should get what they were promised. To that end, Harrell says the city will streamline the city's permitting processes and he will add bodies to the city's team working with Sound Transit on expansion to Ballard and West Seattle.
We have to advance our projects quickly. Every single day of delay adds unnecessary expense to taxpayers.
Harold says it is unclear whether cost overruns might compromise expansion plans, but he hopes not. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle's top prosecutor says she is suing Glock. City Attorney Ann Davison argues those pistols are too easy to convert into illegal machine guns. She says the Glock switch is fueling a rise in gun violence, and the city wants the gun maker to change its design. We have reached out to Glock for comments. Local sheriff recently took to social media floating the idea of banning transgender people from owning guns. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay has more on that.
Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank made that post in the wake of last week's school shooting in Minnesota, where the shooter, who took their own life, was transgender. He tells the Jason Rant Show on Seattle Red 770 AM.
This is a social experiment where the people on the left want to have gun control. So I'm going to say, what do you think about this? Is it mental health?
KIRO News Radio reached out to the sheriff's office asking about its social media policy. And after that, Swank posted on X, quote, "It's obvious this person wants to silence me. Here's the policy. I am the sheriff, and I can say whatever I want." Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Washington State Cougars are mourning the loss of a legendary basketball coach. George Raveling made history as the first black head coach in the Pacific 8 Conference, leading the Cougs from 1972 to 83. During his time in Pullman, he led Wazoo to 2 NCAA tournaments. Raveling died of cancer. He was 88. Weather update now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. For the rest of this week, we'll see morning clouds and afternoon sunshine, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Right now, 75 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
So, what's it like living in a house with more than 150 monkeys? John Stofflet's about to find out.
Now, we're going to have to do it again. You got a big piece of something on your shoulder there.
All right, you know what? Let's just take, why don't we do this?
Yeah, well, while you're up, hey, how about that bird is just not working for me, you know? I don't know what it is.
Is that better?
Well, yeah, but also the plant, there's like a couple of leaves that are hanging down. What?
Oh, well.
Well, you don't have to wait.
That's a blood sugar problem.
That's good. That's nice. It's great. Okay.
All right.
Now that works really well.
Not proud of it. Yeah. All right.
That's good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Is that better?
It's a bad day.
Andrew, he has to be listening to us in here, right?
Yeah.
There's no way that just came out of nowhere.
No, that's because of the rage room. So he's tying it all together.
Right.
Yeah, see, come on now, boy. Where are you?
We were just talking about your funny, squeaky voice that is
I've gotten older. Diving into the All right, so the president had a press conference.
And he says, hey, we're going into Chicago. He was at the Oval Office today answering questions. And, yep, they want to go to Chicago.
Have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say about, we don't need help, we're safe. But 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit, and 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, it was
Yeah, not good timing for the mayor and for the governor. Let's see, here we go.
That was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now.
Yeah, it's the nickname of Chicago is Chirac. Chirac. All right, so Pritzker, the governor, says he has a press conference right after Trump. This happened just about an hour and a half ago. He says,
I can't live in a fantasy land where I pretend Trump is not tearing this country apart for personal greed and power. I have to deal in facts, and here they are. Crime is down in Chicago. Murders are down by almost 50% in the last 4 years. Shootings are down 57%. Robberies down 34%. Burglaries down 21%. Motor vehicle thefts down 26%. One violent crime is too many, and we have more work to do. But we have made important progress on safety that Trump is now jeopardizing.
Yeah. So if you look, where are they looking at the high, right, of I guess it's 21, 22 in there. Those were the high numbers, so they're off from their high. Still, it has crime, but it's not as bad as it was when the previous, now the mayor, was saying, Brandon Johnson was saying, defund the police. Whew. He was asked about that during the debate with another guy that's running for mayor, and he tried to kind of dance around a little bit. But, yeah, calling for the defunding of police. So it is down from its high, but still it's not the city you want to necessarily, especially in the Austin section of the city. You don't want to be walking around there at night. So the mayor then stepped up after Pritzker and said the problem is
we will never be able to end gun violence in Chicago as long as the president continues to allow tens of thousands of guns to be trafficked into our state and our city.
I've heard this before, but how do you stop that? Supply demand. There is a demand for the guns. Somebody's going to provide the guns. So what he's saying, I guess what Johnson is saying, because these red states have loose laws about, or what he would describe it to be loose, of people being able to buy guns. So people buy guns and then they traffic them into Chicago.
Guns come from red states. They are coming from Indiana. They are coming from Mississippi. They are coming from Louisiana. And that is the harsh reality, whether Republicans like it or not.
Yeah. And why are they going to those cities? Because the people that want to buy these guns illegally want to buy those guns so that they can use those guns to commit crimes against people. There is a very provocative study that came out that said more guns, less crime. And people have tried to punch holes in it. The two authors of that study still stand by that. They say if you even provide, if the citizens, 1% to 2% of the citizens are able to carry guns, it does reduce crime because the person who's coming up to rob you might think twice if you happen to have a gun. They don't know if you have a gun. So that's sort of the theory that went out there: more guns, less crime. But Jody Weiss, who was the former head of the Chicago Police Department, was talking about this exact same thing. And he welcomes, he said, yeah, we'd like to actually have the National Guard come in, and here's how he would send them around to the city.
So what I would ask for with the president, I would say, let's send in a lot of agents and a lot of prosecutors, and let's start looking for those quick impact cases. For example, any felon that's picked up with a gun, that can go federal. Drug possession with the intent to distribute, that can go federal. If you find a gun in a narcotics arrest, that can go federal. And my favorite of all time, Hobbs Act. Because if someone robs a liquor store or robs a convenience store, because that affects interstate commerce and they're using violence, that can be a federal crime. And why are federal crimes good to go with? They send people away for a long time to a place far, far away. So that's what I would really push for, those quick impact cases.
So you look at the numbers, they can be a little skewed because what will happen is the FBI looks at the numbers, but when it comes to the charging, rather than say somebody comes up to you and has a gun and they rob you there in Chicago, if they know that the prosecutor will not charge on that, they'll simply drop it down to a misdemeanor charge. Then it doesn't show up in the FBI statistics. And then one of the reasons they do that, change it from a felony down to just a misdemeanor, is because, well, they want the guy to get some time because they know the prosecutor probably will try to knock it down. So let's charge him with a misdemeanor. At least that's get them to do some time rather than no time. The other thing that Trump wants to do is he wants to get rid of and stop sending dollars to any state that has cashless bail systems. So I went to see the Chicago and Illinois now has cashless bail. So then I wanted to see if crime went up or down, and it looks like it didn't really have any effect. Crime did not go up after they got rid of bail. In fact, the numbers look like most recent data shows that that they're not putting more behind bars, not putting less behind bars, and crime has not increased because of the cashless bail that's happening there in Illinois. So I guess that's some good news. And then when it comes to the mayor, he was asked while he was on with Joe Scarborough on Morning Joe, and he can't answer this question honestly, because if he answers this question honestly, this is like, have you stopped beating your wife lately question, because he knows if he says yes, well, then the follow-up question from Joe Scarborough, well, then you would welcome. Well, here's how the mayor tries to walk around this when Joe Scarborough asks if 5,000 more troops would help.
Do you believe
5,000 more cops
that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing.
Yeah, listen, between robbing a gas station or having affordable housing, I won't go in there and rob anybody, pistol whip somebody if I know I've got a house I can afford. That's nonsense. And Joe says,
look, okay, but that's not the question I asked. My question is, and I just need a yes or a no, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if you got all of those other extraordinary programs put back into place, which do have a history of being successful, if that's complemented by having 5,000 more cops on the streets of Chicago?
I don't believe that we should narrow it down to just police officers, Joe, is what I'm saying. That is an antiquated approach. I'm saying we've invested in detectives.
Mr. Mayor, are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with you that all of these other social programs are extraordinarily important. I just need a yes or a no, and then this will be the last time I ask. If you get all of those other social programs that 800 million that New York City does, Los Angeles, other people do with great success, would an additional 5,000 cops on the streets in Chicago help complement those programs to make Chicago safer?
Look, we are working hard to make sure that our police department is fully supported.
Listen, the guy's not very bright, but he knows not to step into that landmine. The number of police officers have dropped in Chicago. 1992 was the most violent year in Chicago. They were below 12,000 police. They had 940. And then what happened was then they increased the number of cops up to 13,500 in 2014, and the murder rates dropped to 429. They then, Ron Emanuel, in 2016, cut the budget, cut the number of police, and murder went up to 760. So you see how this trend works. 2019, they had 13,400 police officers on the streets. They don't have that number anymore because so many of them quit because you had people like Mayor Brandon Johnson, who was at the time working in the school district, was calling for the defunding of police. So a lot of guys are like, bye-bye. In a poll in 2019, 68% of folks there in Chicago said, yes, they would like to have more police. So more police, less crime. The president wants to go in and have the National Guard. The Supreme Court has said you can't just send somebody, you can't send the cops, you can't send the National Guard in to do police business. So the way they're working around that is they've gone back to the courts and said, well, listen, we're not having them do police business. We're sending them there to protect federal buildings and protect the police. So a little gray area, but they're not allowed to step in there and do that type of action because there is a high wall between using federal dollars to support state dollars or city dollars, so you can't kind of get in there and do that. But he still says he's going to go in and send, I guess, the National Guard in the same way he sent the National Guard into D.C. because he actually has the mayor of D.C. saying, you know.
And we greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city. The most significant thing that we are highlighting today is the area of crime that was most troubling for us in 2023. Now, we have driven it down over the last years, but for carjackings, the difference between this period, this 20-day period of this federal surge and last year represents a 87% reduction in carjackings in Washington, D.C. We know that when carjackings go down, when the use of gun goes down, when homicide or robbery go down, neighborhoods feel safer and are safer. So this surge has been important to us for that reason.
Okay. So there you have the mayor of D.C. saying, hey, it's working. Well, that's not going to sit well for the mayor of Chicago when you have the mayor of D.C. saying, hey, we don't seem to have a problem with this. I guess she's heard from constituents saying, hey, this is nice. We like this. So then that kind of opens the door for Trump to want to go into Baltimore, into Chicago. I don't think he's going to send anybody into Seattle, but I think our crime is where it is. But, you know, you can just have troops coming in here supporting the local police, but then you'd have to have the judges sending people to jail. So I'm tightening everything up.
By the way, the governor of Illinois also said in a separate interview today that the feds were already staging at the federal buildings around Chicago. So, and he thinks most of them will be operating under the ICE and Border Protection flag.
See? Then that's how they get in there and do that sort of stuff. Last bit of news is the fact that the president has said to Colorado, here's the problem with all this. Oh, he's an authoritarian. When the federal government is responsible for 20% of state budgets, and the states don't run their budgets well, and they just turn and look to the federal government to bail them out of so many things. Once you tie yourself to the federal government in order to get money, well, now you're playing by their rules. And their rules are you follow our rules if you want the money. It's as simple as that. Biden did it when he decided he wanted to do changing Title IX, and you have to allow men to compete against women. That's an example of it. And that they were going to, if you didn't do it, then you're going to be in a whole lot of trouble. So now you have this president in there saying, well, here, we're going to enforce our rules. And if you don't want to play by our rules, then we're not going to give you any money. So he pulled money out of Colorado. He told Colorado that no more U.S. command headquarters will be there in Colorado. I forget what's his problem with Colorado. Obviously, there's something in there he doesn't like. He's going to move it to Alabama.
That's Space Force Command or something.
Yeah, Space Force Command. He's going to run in Alabama. Why? What was his problem with Colorado?
I honestly don't know.
I'm trying to find it here. He buried it way down at the bottom is the story. Why doesn't he like Colorado? What did Colorado do to him? What?
A legal battle over his eligibility for the 2024 presidential ballot.
Oh, my God.
And the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause.
Ah, okay. Well, there you go. A little lawfare on him comes back and gets you. This is a problem because if you don't like his style and you don't like the way he runs things, what happens is people then decide, well, I'm going to be like him. Like Gavin Newsom's decided, I'm going to be like Trump. And then everything is reduced to the lowest common denominator, and then you're exactly like your enemy. And then everybody's acting exactly the same because there's a sense of scarcity, which then causes people to be against each other. It's to have somebody go up, like the old thing was, when they go low, we go high. Well, everybody's they gotten rid of that. If he's going low, we're going to be even lower. And then it's just a race to the bottom for everybody. There's Nate over there at the very top, though, taking a look at traffic.
Hey, thanks, John. All right, we've got some big issues out there. Let's start with our biggest one through Federal Way, South 5. First at 320 the disabled vehicle blocks the HOV lane. Just beyond that, just before State Route 18, this long-term crash now involving a transit bus is blocking the HOV lane there. You're backed up bumper to bumper into Tukwila near the Boeing Access Road. Seattle to Federal Way, an hour-and-a-half commute. Renton to Puyallup is an alternate choice for you, but that's at 55 minutes. It is better, but it's solid from Renton all the way into Puyallup. Southbound 509 is another alternate route, but that is now jam-packed as you make your way through Des Moines. Up at Lake City, we cleared our crash North 5 at Lake City Way. It's sitting in the Gore Point. We also cleared our stalled bus westbound 90 heading into the Mount Baker Tunnel. You're backed up to Island Crest Way, but you'll gradually thin out across the lake. Bellevue to Seattle will take you 35 minutes on I-90. It's a 15-minute trip on 520. Up in Everett, we cleared that collision North 5 at State Route 526. It's on your right shoulder. You're backed up bumper to bumper there all the way to that Linwood interchange. Bellevue to Everett and Seattle to Everett are both shot up to hour 20-minute commutes. It's a half hour into Linwood from both Seattle and Bellevue. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these 3 books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Parango and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Bathfitter just hit a big milestone, 42,000 installations in Western Washington. To celebrate, Bathfitter's offering payments as low as $125 a month. Ursula Royteen here. I chose Bathfitter Northwest because they work here, they live here, and they love making bathrooms better for their neighbors. Custom fit tub and shower solutions are installed in as little as 1 day, and every installation is backed by a lifetime warranty. Call Bathfitter or visit bathfitternw.com to schedule a free consultation. This special offer won't last.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
A serial killer on the prowl for teen girls in the Pacific Northwest. At least 2 escaped.
She literally crawled out of her grave. Just a miracle that she survived.
Hear their stories. Follow Stolen Voices of Dole Valley now.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. President Trump confirms federal forces are coming to Chicago.
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in.
President says they are working on plans to deploy National Guard members and immigration agents to that city. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker expects them to arrive in the coming days with plans, he says, to target Latino communities.
You're likely to see videos of them hauling away mothers and fathers, traveling to work or picking up their kids from school. Sometimes they will detain, handcuff, and haul away children.
Governor Pritzker says this is all just a big show. President Trump says it's really about making Chicago safer. Families of victims of Boeing plane crashes may have one last chance to ask for criminal prosecution. CBS's Matt Piper has that update.
A federal judge in Texas is set to hear arguments Wednesday on a government motion to dismiss charges against Boeing. Prosecutors in the U.S. charged Boeing with conspiracy to commit fraud in connection with crashes that killed 346 people off the coast of Indonesia and in Ethiopia. Boeing pleaded guilty instead of going to trial, but a judge rejected the aircraft maker's plea agreement in December. The judge has invited some of the families to address the court, some of whom want him to appoint a special prosecutor to take over the case. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Tragic crash in Bellingham claimed the life of a Nooksack Valley High School sophomore. Whatcom County Sheriff's Office says the teen was thrown from a car that rolled several times on Noon Road yesterday. 2 other students, both seniors, were taken to the hospital. They are recovering. Seattle Public Schools says it is ready for tomorrow's opening day despite budget challenges that may lead to larger class sizes in the district. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has the latest there.
In order to shore up a looming $80 million budget shortfall, Interim Superintendent Fred Podesta says not this year, but next year. They may have to cut buses and bus routes, add a third bell time to spread buses out, and
we might have to have larger class sizes. School schedule is important, but that's one of those things we think we can do.
The district begins this year without a permanent superintendent and an unfinished draft of a new 5-year strategic plan. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
At 4:33 now, we turn it over to Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, Aaron, let's start you down in Federal Way where we have some good news finally. We cleared our stall South 5 near 320th. Just past that, though, at State Route 18. Still looking at a transit bus involved in an earlier crash blocking the HOV lane. You're still sitting in a hefty backup starting near the Boeing Access Road. Seattle to Federal Way has improved a little to an hour and 20 minutes. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway just went up a bit to 1 hour. It is solid from Renton all the way into Puyallup. Bellevue to Everett up to an hour 20 minutes. 40 minutes to Linwood now. 405 is heavy through Kirkland and Totem Lake. Then you're going to clear out until you hit that interchange where you'll join the North 5 backup. The now stretches pretty much from the interchange up to the Boeing Freeway there in South Everett. Seattle to Everett is down to 1 hour, half hour to Linwood, and you're solid from the U District into Everett. Crossing the lake from Bellevue, 35 minutes on I-90. It's 20 minutes now on 520. Linwood to Seattle's just a half hour. Bellevue to Renton's at 35 minutes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Seeing some hazy skies out there, but worse conditions to the east with heat and wildfire smoke. Seeing pleasant temperatures on the other hand with 75 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Back to school means 10,000 buses, over 1 million students, and 60,000 teachers all hitting our roads. Even if you don't have kids, your morning routine just got a wake-up call. With KIRO 7 pinpoint weather and real-time traffic every 10 minutes, you'll be totally prepared and know what to expect before it hits. From breaking news to changing skies and slowdowns you wouldn't see coming, KIRO 7 News in the morning has your back. To school. Watch KIRO 7 weekday mornings, 4:30 to 7 a.m. only on KIRO 7 TV.
Nice read. I like where you're back in the comment. That was good. That was good. That was well said, well read, Joe. Bucky's Auto Service Centers, you know they've got 16 locations, been around for 55 years. Stop and think about that. That's 55 years of fixing those cars. We make it really simple here at the John Curley Show for you to visualize a car that needs to be repaired. Fill it with rats, push it over a cliff, or take it to Bucky's. Think of the trouble having to fill it with rats. You got to catch the rats or get the rats, and then you got to push it over the thing. Just get it fixed. Right?
Agreed.
Don't think about it too long.
Okay.
We had a dark, nasty segment. It was going to go into a big thing, get people all pissed off and write in. And then Joe pulled an audible, said, I have an idea. Let's bring Jacob in. It's like, hold on. We want ratings, right? We need people to listen. But then when I found out, it says here that, well, I won't say what he's doing, but here, I'll just give you a little hint here. This is Evening Magazine. Kim Holcomb went to one of these places. This is in Lake City. This is back in 2017. So you're really right on top of the trend, Jacob.
This is Rage Industry.
You come in here to smash stuff.
You come in here to smash stuff. It's a lot of stress relief. It's satisfying, all of those things. There's like a variety of things you can pick, like toilets, TVs, printers, bottles, and then you pick out your weapon.
You could do that here at Bonneville. We don't pay anything.
We have like bats, sledgehammers, crowbars, pans even, and then you use those weapons to hit the items.
How did you even come up with this idea?
Okay, Kim, we've got it. So you go into a room with a bunch of stuff. They give you a hammer, they give you goggles, and they give you a helmet, and then you go in there and just smash stuff.
That's right. I guess I've not done it. This will be my first time.
I know very little about it, other than the fact that you'd be the worst person to have in there.
Why do you say that?
Because you're not a violent guy. You don't seem to have a lot of internal rage that would need to be brought out on an old printer.
I don't know what it is. what happened was Sean and I were just at the
No,
the
Sean,
coffee
I could
machine.
see busting stuff.
Yeah, this is our coworker Sean Dettori. One time, bored up of this time slot actually. Yeah, I don't know. I was describing something. It's embarrassing because I don't remember what that had made me particularly angry. And Sean had
Probably had something to do with John.
No.
See, it's not it. It's even dumber than something that John made me angry about, which doesn't happen terribly often either.
Okay.
I think it was. I don't know if this is relatable to you at all, John, or normal for someone of my age. I'm.
I used to take 10 years off your life all the time. Because I wanted you to date Charlie, my daughter.
Oh, that's
And she's
right.
like, Jacob is so cute. How old is he? How old are you? She's 22. He's 25.
Oh, yeah.
That's a huge compliment, by the way.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah.
But then I found out, I'm like, what's this gross old man doing with my daughter? I found out he's like, how old are you?
To be clear, I had no idea any of this was going
How old
on.
are you? You're
I am
gross.
32 now.
Oh, my God. You're disgusting.
Yeah.
Now I look at you like, get away, perv man.
Let me arrest this man.
Give me something to break. All right.
Get in the rage
So
room.
back to your weird neurological problems that you're going to go into this room, but are you walking in with a lot of rage?
We didn't hear the why.
Oh, why? Yeah,
I
sorry,
guess
sorry.
Stuff keeps like. Do you know something goes wrong and then like you think you fix it and then the same thing goes wrong 5 years later and you're like, I thought we dealt with this.
Are we talking about your voice cracking?
Okay. We were past that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that there's some like I'm old enough now to where things I thought that had been solved are now becoming problems again, and there's something about the fact that they're repeating really does make me angrier than I used to get.
So you're going to go into a room and wreak havoc because something that happened 5 years ago.
Well, no, because it happened again.
Oh, right. It's happening
That's
again.
right, yes.
Okay, all right. Is it a rash? Is it something internally that you're working?
Again, John, the more questions, the more boring this will become. I got upset that they updated all the computers at work, and then the computers didn't work good. And this happened the last time they updated the computers, and it blows my mind that they seem perplexed every time they do this.
This upsets you too, John.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to turn the thing on. I make you do all that
Yeah,
sort of
when you
stuff.
try, you get very angry.
Well, only because I know, and the people that run all the tech stuff know that I'm not really tech savvy.
Yeah.
So I didn't find out when they replaced all the computers that they kept mine there for like 2 years because he never uses it. So when the one guy, the new tech guy they hired goes, let me see what's going on here. What the hell? This thing is so old. What is this? Where's this thing from? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, whoa, you should have gotten a new one like 2 years ago. I don't even know. Where do you disconnect this thing from? And then I found out I'm like the redheaded stepchild when it comes to the tech stuff.
You still had a steam-powered computer somehow. It was
and I'm like, we're out of coal. I need more coal. Why isn't anybody else pouring coal into their machine? It's like, that's one way to stop me to getting online. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. And then when they do the thing like, have you gone upstairs and taken the course on how to answer the phone? I'm like, I'm not answering the phone. It rang. It hardly ever rings, but when it does ring, I just go, excuse me, I'm going to try to transfer you. If I lose you, please call back. And I give the other number. And then I just hang up on him.
Well, I guess I could ask for some advice because you get to choose your
weapon.
Yeah. Baseball bat, sledgehammer, or golf club. I feel like it depends on what kind of golf club. I'm not a golfer, so I think I'm going to pass on the golf club.
Well, they also said toilets are an option, which to me that would.
No, you don't get to.
She said that in the video. That
I think you can smash a toilet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that I would want to smash a toilet, but it seems like they're probably expensive. You might have to pay extra for toilets.
Maybe more for a toilet. Yeah.
Bring your own and use the toilet to smash other things. Don't go with a golf club. You want to go with whatever it is. It's the heaviest thing that's not going to break on you.
Maybe sledgehammer or baseball bat.
By the way, I looked it up to see, does it do any good? The answer is no. In fact, what they say is all it does is teach your brain to react to anger with violence. So you're actually creating neural pathways to say, oh, I'm going to get upset about something, so I'm going to smash something.
No, and my therapist tells me when I'm talking about anger that anger's like a top level emotion, and there's always something underneath it, and you want to figure out what that thing is. When then smashing doesn't, I think, help you figure that out at all. But I think it will be fun. Well, because it's something to do with my friend Sean.
Take some video for us.
How about bowling?
Could consume maybe next time.
Here's some music that I figure you'd be in there listening to while you're in there.
You get to choose your own music.
Yeah, something like this I would suggest for you. And you're like... Let us know how it goes.
I will. No pregnant women. If someone's hearing this thinking about doing it themselves, that's one of the only rules.
All right, fine.
When are you going?
Maybe this weekend. We'll see.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you, Jacob. Good luck with those computers. Here's Nate taking a look at traffic for us. Nate, on.
Thanks, John. Federal Way, South 5, just before State Route 18, we've got this long-term crash involving a transit bus in the HOV lane, and you're backed up all the way to the Boeing Access Road in Tukwila. Seattle to Federal Way, though, continues to improve. We're down to 1 hour. We were up to an hour and a half. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is a 1 hour drive, and you're solid from Renton all the way into Sumner. North 5 in Fife, just past the Puyallup River Bridge, got a crash blocking 2 right lanes. Tacoma to Olympia is at 45 minutes. Bellevue to Everett, an hour 20, 40 to Linwood. Seattle to Everett is a 1 hour trip, half hour to Linwood, and it gets really heavy north of that Linwood interchange due to an earlier collision up there in South Everett. Crossing the lake from Bellevue, 35 minutes on I-90, 20 minutes on 520, and right around a half hour Linwood into Seattle. You'll eventually jam up right around Lake City Way. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I was listening to KIRO Radio probably about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I kept hearing about RLE, refractive lens exchange. And the thing that got me to want to go and start shopping around, I heard if you're over the age of 50 and don't want to wear glasses anymore, and you don't want to wear contacts and you're concerned about cataracts, it's like, yes, on all 3. 4, I am over the age of 50. I don't want to wear glasses anymore. I had one to wear at night, drive, and then up close. I mean, I had a whole drawer full of these glasses. And then I went to the doctor, and he's like, well, we need to get the prescription for you. Another prescription. My eyes kept getting worse and worse. So I shopped around, and I went to K2 Vision. I meet Dr. Kopstein. I'm really excited. He said, sign me up. He said, listen, I'm not going to do this unless it has a great result for you. I might tell you to come back in 10, 15, or 20 years. 20 years? Come on. He looks at my eyes and he goes, this is going to actually have a very, very good effect for you. So we do it. 5 minutes, one eye, 5 on the other. And I go back, and I think it's the next day. And he tests my eyes. I have 20/20 vision. In fact, I'm so cocky about it. I said, let me read the bottom line. I mean, I am all in on this. I've got 20/20 vision. I'm 63 years old. Love it. If you don't want to wear glasses and readers and contacts and you want to get rid of all of that, K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
The Northwest's trusted news source, KIRO News Radio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Your time is money. So why are you wasting it stuck in I-5 gridlock, TSA slowdowns, and SeaTac crowds? Isn't it time to travel smarter? Seaport Airlines offers high-frequency commuter shuttle service from Seattle's Boeing Field to Portland. Park for free next to our terminals. Check in 20 minutes before your departure. Get there faster without the hassles. Seaport Airlines. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. When it comes to the technology that the IRS is using, they're updating systems that haven't been updated in decades. And while that might sound great for them, it's usually bad for the taxpayer who owes.
It is, and their systems, unfortunately, they're just legacy systems. If you try to make an inquiry on some things, it's like you got to know how to use programming language to find it. But they are working on updating that system, and I hope that really they do, because it'll serve us better, the taxpayer better, and get things done quicker. The other thing they're doing is AI, just like every organization. So they're already using it to some extent to put in profile of certain things that they want to look for in a taxpayer and find those people and go after them or see what's going on, why they're not getting their money.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Jim Singletary here, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, where we're not afraid to tell you no. Looking for a roofing company that'll do cheap, fast work and just cover up the problem? No, that's not us. Want a quick quote without a real inspection? Nope. Just want a price without knowing your options? Not happening. Look, we don't want to tell you no, but if saying yes means cut corners, bad results, or wasted money, we won't do it. Period. And here's the deal. Seattle gets 150 rainy days a year. That's not wait and see weather, it's call RoofSmart now weather. We say no to leaky roofs, sloppy work, and bad estimates, and yes to thorough inspections, accurate quotes, and top quality work that actually lasts. So if you want an honest roofer who's not afraid to say no to bad work, call RoofSmart today at 206-487-4877 or visit GetRoofSmart.com. That's 206-487-4877 or GetRoofSmart.com.
The 7500 EV tax credit expires on September 30th, so head to Carter Volkswagen, Subaru, or Acura today. Discover their great selection, discounts, and financing offers now on the 2025 ID4 or the all-new ID Buzz from Carter Volkswagen, the 2025 Solterra from Carter Subaru, and the 2025 Acura ZDX at Carter Acura. The tax credit is ending soon, so hurry into Carter Motors or visit them at carterseattle.com.
All for unleased vehicles only. Not all buyers will qualify. See store for details.
A serial killer on the prowl for teen girls in the Pacific Northwest. At least 2 escaped.
She literally crawled out of her grave. Just a miracle that she survived.
Hear their stories. Follow Stolen Voices of Dole Valley now.
One triple A 973-5476. Come on in, everybody. When I first heard that the conjoined twins, they have their own reality show, they must.
They did, but it was very short-lived.
They both went to, so they are joined at the neck. So that's 2 heads, 1 body, and they both got degrees, but at different colleges.
No, same college.
Same college. So they both paid. So they were paying for 2 tuitions. They both graduate. So they have separate degrees. They get hired as a teacher. I think they teach 4th grade, right?
5th grade.
5th grade, right? And it's a full-time job they've gotten. And so both have individual teaching license. They were hired separately.
They both interviewed separately, yeah.
Well, no.
They had 2 different interviews.
Okay, fine. And then they received a single salary and they consider the single unit for the employment. So there's 1 person, 2 heads, 2 brains, all their vital organs they share, and they have 1 salary.
We're just like everyone else. We really are normal, but I'm definitely more normal than Brett. Whatever. Anyways, this is the story of our normal, regular life. Well, our normal conjoined life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So their time as students, teachers, and graduate college.
You're going to get 3 points. And I would like you to go out for recess.
Some of the uniqueness will be in terms of contracts. Is it one contract? Is it 2 contracts?
For licensure, they applied as 2 separate people, and they'll both have their own teaching license. But obviously, they have to have a job where they can physically be in the same space.
Group 2, you're going to get 3 points, and you're also going to go enjoy recess. Bye!
There's no question in my mind that they will really change the world for the better and influence lives in ways that those like myself, as one person, never would be able to do.
Bye! We are winding down with student teaching, so we only have 13 days left, which is so sad. But we're excited to graduating. Will be a lot of fun. It'll be a good week. So bittersweet, but we're excited.
Yeah, that's right. So they both graduated from college. They earned degrees separate in 2012. They said that
signifying that you are the proud holder of a degree from Bethel University. Congratulations. We salute you.
Good for them. I gotta say, if I had a kid in that class, I think that'd be great. Great.
In their class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Because, at first it's going to be a shock to the kids sitting in the class. But then all of a sudden you realize, hey, it's just, it's the way they were born and this is the way they are. But, if they're good teachers, I think there would be, that's outstanding. I'm glad that they're doing this. The fact that they get one salary, it's one employee, basically. That's the way they look at it.
Yeah, but shouldn't they have gotten maybe a deal on going to college and have not had to pay?
Bring that up with the institution.
I think that's unfair. I think they got railroaded. But I was also thinking in the age of remote learning and such, they could, have like a little cubicle and maybe teach 2 separate classes at the same time.
Okay, Joe. Really? So they're both talking at the same time, teaching different things?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Did you dabble in a little bit of something extra before you went on the air today?
No, I didn't. But I also would like to point out that they just had a baby.
Okay.
And one of them's married.
It's the married one had the baby.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Joe. Here's the Mind Reels. Here's Nate over there checking traffic for you.
Yep, Seattle to Federal Way, you're down to an hour. Pretty solid backup from Tukwila all the way into Tacoma. The good news is we no longer have any blocking problems along this route, so this should begin to thin out, albeit slowly since we're right at the peak of the afternoon commute. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is an hour drive. It is bumper to bumper now coming off 405, almost down to Emerald Downs, and then from there you kind of start to slowly thin out as you head down into Sumner. In Fife, we cleared that collision north 5 just before the Puyallup River Bridge. Bellevue to Everett, you're down to 1 hour, still 40 minutes to Linwood. Seattle to Everett's down to 50 minutes. It's a half hour to Linwood. Linwood to Seattle taking you a half hour. We're starting to get crowded now in Linwood, and then it's packed from Ravenna Boulevard down to I-90, which isn't bad, especially for this time of day. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Motorcycle accident cases require a thorough investigation by a team of experienced legal professionals if they have any chance of being successful. Insurance companies, juries, and even the police tend to assume the worst about motorcycle riders. Get help from an experienced team of attorneys that have successfully resolved hundreds of motorcycle accident cases over the past 30 years. Call Davis Law Group for a free legal consultation or get my free book on motorcycle accidents at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on mynorthwest.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created for a few dollars a month. No, you need to listen to music in the most difficult way possible. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
Save 50 to 75% by combining tax credits, rebates, and incentives on a new heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The U.S. strikes a boat in the southern Caribbean that officials say was filled with drugs. CBS's Charlie D'Agata at the Pentagon with the latest.
Video posted by President Trump shows the moment the boat was struck. He claimed it killed 11 members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua and that the vessel was in international waters, transporting drugs towards the U.S.
A lot of drugs in that boat.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, traveling to Mexico City, posted the boat was operated by a designated narco-terrorist organization out of Venezuela.
The House Oversight Committee has publicly posted the files it has received from the Justice Department on the sex trafficking investigations into Jeffrey Epstein and his former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. Committee Chairman James Comer.
We're in the process of uploading those documents for full transparency so everyone in America can see those documents.
The Justice Department released the files to the committee in response to a subpoena, but Democrats on the committee say the files mostly contain information that is already publicly known. As President Trump prepares to send federal troops to Chicago, the administration has dealt a legal blow for its earlier action in California. KNX's Craig Figner in L.A.
The 36-page decision from U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer declared the deployment illegal, the judge writing that it was done with the intention of creating a national police force with the president as its chief. Here's Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass.
They were never needed in the first place. LAPD and the surrounding agencies were able to handle the protests when it had deteriorated into vandalism.
Craig Figner for CBS News, Los Angeles.
To Northern California, where wildfires have forced some evacuations. KOVR TV's Nina Burns is in Calaveras County.
It's getting worse. We put on masks. Our eyes are a little bit watery.
The fire started as thunderstorms rolled through much of the Central Valley and the Bay Area. Amazon is cracking down on the sharing of Prime free shipping. CBS's Matt Piper explains.
Amazon is ending a program that allows those with Prime to share their free shipping benefits with people who do not have the same address. Users instead will have Amazon Family, which lets them share Prime benefits with one other adult, but they have to share the same address. The free shipping sharing will end October 1st, and it's encouraging users outside the household of the account holder to sign up for their own Prime subscription, which costs about $140 a year.
A California jury unanimously clears pop star Cardi B of assault allegations in a $24 million civil lawsuit brought by a security guard over an encounter outside a Beverly Hills obstetrician's office in 2018. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, the city of Seattle is suing a major gun maker. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. This report brought to us by Seattle Sports. Seattle to Federal Way still taking right around an hour. It is solid from Tukwila, about the Duwamish curve down to 516 as we are in recovery mode from a couple of earlier blocking issues down at Federal Way. It's actually starting to clear up nicely south of 516. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeways at 1 hour. It is solid from Renton all the way into Sumner. In Fife, we cleared an earlier collision North 5 just before the Puyallup River Bridge, but tows keep showing up on scene, blocking your right lane momentarily, so that could be a blocking issue off and on here for the next half hour or so. Bellevue to Everett is at 1 hour, Seattle to Everett 50 minutes. Linwood to Seattle is going to take you a half hour. Now you got a little crowding in Linwood, and then it's heavy from Lake City Way into downtown, but now we have a new stall on the Ship Canal Bridge in your left lane. And if you're heading towards Snoqualmie Pass, eastbound 90, you're sitting in a 7 to 8 mile bumper to bumper backup between North Bend and the Summit due to road work. North Bend to Ellensburg right now is 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's almost a 1 hour delay. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. KIRO Newsradio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM. Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening. I'm Aaron Granillo. The city of Seattle is suing gun maker Glock. Details from KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
Seattle City Attorney Ann Davison accuses Glock of making handguns that can be easily converted into illegal machine guns using a device called a Glock switch. Davison says modified guns can fire 30 rounds in 2 seconds, and they're showing up more often these days at crime scenes. She wants Glock to redesign its weapons to prevent those conversions. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
And we have reached out to Glock for comments. A homeowner in Auburn called 911 this morning and admitted to shooting and killing a home intruder. KIRO 7 TV's Deborah Horn reports from the Senior Military Road in South 364th Street.
South King County Fire and Rescue tells me they arrived this morning to find a, quote, patient with life-threatening injuries. They attempted CPR, but the person did die here at the scene. Now, neither they nor the King County Sheriff will tell us even the genders of those involved.
Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell says he is taking steps to curb cost on light rail expansions to Ballard and West Seattle. His comments today came after Sound Transit announced last week a potential $30 billion construction shortfall.
The voters trusted us to deliver this generational investment, and that's indeed what it is, and we will not let them down. We can solve these challenges if we work together.
He says one idea to save money, streamline the permitting process in the city. Well, it is back to school in the Bellevue School District, which has had its own share of money problems lately. KIRO 7 TV's Reggie Sinha spoke with Superintendent Kelly Aramaki today.
Bellevue Schools has sold property for $30 million, and other infusions of cash mean the district could solve its budget problems in a few years.
That is the light at the end of the tunnel for us. It's going to really help us.
Aramaki says launching a Japanese language program at Bennett Elementary shows that the district can meet new educational goals while also trying to balance the books.
Now, the district recently cut about 100 positions as well. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. A little hazy outside today with some wildfire smoke. Nice temperatures, though. It is mid-70s across the map. A little warmer in the foothills. That's where we do have a heat advisory in effect this week. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
The Seattle Mariners.
Mariners? Okay. Aaron? Checking in with Aaron, the score right now for the Mariners. Yeah, boy. Yeah. How are we doing on the? Let's just don't give me the score. I just want to know how's Aaron feeling right now. Oof. Wow. Sorry, picking at a wound.
Nervous.
Okay, nervous. Good.
I'm officially nervous.
This is what happens to you.
Yes. Well, it's the last month of the season.
Yep.
And it's a tight race to the finish. It looks like. So. They are slumping on the road as of late. Pitching hasn't been as dominant on the road. They're currently losing.
Yes.
They need to win these games against lesser teams. And they're not.
No.
So I'm officially nervous.
So they need to win more.
Yeah, that would help.
All right there.
They need to take care of business against the teams they should take care of business.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You got it.
Oh, I forgot. I got to dive in. Diving in the one of these days, I'm going to right in there. Speaking of pitching. Oh, come on. That's not fair to those YouTubers out there.
You hit a camera.
Oh, so close. Getting better.
Yeah, you are.
Wouldn't it be embarrassing if I was like this? Let me throw it at the thing. Man, I was kind of weird. All right. That was always the saddest thing. You'd go out, you'd take your kid out for like Little League, and all the dads are around there, hey, come on, a little pepper here, come on now, and throwing it in there. And,
come on now.
Hey, a little chatter there, right? And then you get the dad that's just really uncoordinated. Oh. God, you feel so, and the dad's got the kind of weird arm. Then you look over and the kid's got the weird arm. You're like, come on. The kid is like, okay, there's growth there. The kid can get better.
Yeah.
But the father like this. He's got other skills. All right. Seattle area offices staying empty. Oh, no. Seattle Times reports. Were they 30% commercial real estate down? And they're like, wow, what's going on? Yeah, well, it's because of the lockdown. And then, it's slowly coming back again. It'll come back again. It's not coming back because it's not the best place to do business. So, and also people are not going to return the people back to their work. And if you can work remotely and not have to pay that head tax, stay where you are, and you'll actually continue to make more money. But if you move those people back into those offices, and then you have increased crime and just general concern for the well-being of your employees, and you got to pay that head tax, I get it, stay home. So those commercial buildings will remain vacant. And this is a giant hit to the Seattle tax revenue that they so desperately need for all the wonderful services they provide for everybody. So those buildings will remain vacant and the businesses don't come back. I look to see which city in the United States is doing best when it comes to tech workers. And the answer is Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City has had the greatest increase as a percentage, and I know that's a percentage, of people that are now working in the tech industry. From 2010 to 2021, 28% increase, and overall tech hiring from 2015 to 2020, 30% of the people that are being hired are working in the tech industry in Salt Lake. So primarily still in California, but the third step in there is Utah. And you go all the way down and look at this. Washington used to be, when it came to business friendly, was number one. Seattle was number one in 2018. And now the entire state of Washington has dropped from, I think, third or fourth down to 47th. I wonder what's happening. Well, if you tax people, the more you tax something, the less you get of it. And that's simply the pure rules, because when something becomes more expensive, people buy less of it. If you're going to make the employee more expensive, if you're going to make the rent more expensive, people buy less of it. So the Seattle Times looking at the job loss outpacing return to office. Yes, and it will unfortunately stay that way. And it's not because of some freaky thing where it's just too expensive or something. No, it's just simply you're going to go elsewhere. You're going to set up a business and go elsewhere. So that's what happens. When it comes, yes, Joe, question, comments, concerns.
The head tax, how exactly does that work?
Well, if you have an employee, I think it's over $150,000. You have employees that are earning $150,000, they whack that employee. So they say, well, that person makes a lot of money, so the head tax is going to come in there and go get that person.
But that's the business's tax, not the employee, right?
Well, where's the money come from?
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. They're taxing the business for that employee that makes over X amount.
Right.
If that employee works in the city,
yes,
but not
that's a head tax in the city. If you're employed in the city.
But if they work for the company that's based in the city, but
go outside, you don't pay it.
Ah, interesting.
It's one way around it. ICE agents to boost a presence in Seattle. The Seattle post-Labor Day targeting the sanctuary areas, and apparently they're coming.
Overreach is how Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell describes these tactics. He says this talk of lawlessness in sanctuary cities isn't true here in Seattle, where crime on the whole is headed down. And he says he won't help federal agents snatch immigrants right off these streets.
Shut down ICE! Shut down ICE!
Protesters around the region have opposed ICE operations ever since President Donald Trump began his immigration crackdown. Now, ICE agents will focus on Chicago and other sanctuary cities that Trump once targeted starting after Labor Day.
You can see a ramp up of operations in Chicago, absolutely. You're going to see a ramp up of operations in New York. You're going to see a ramp up of operations continue in LA. And, Portland, Seattle.
Seattle city leaders have so far refused to assist federal agents in immigration enforcement, and the mayor says that will continue. The mayor has been meeting with state leaders and says the law is on their side.
Under the 10th Amendment, it is very clear those are the safeguards in place to prevent federal overreach.
Federal officials say ICE will be removing criminals, and sanctuary cities are getting in the way.
We're going to take the assets we have and move them to problem areas like sanctuary cities where we know for a fact they're releasing public safety threat, illegal aliens to the streets every day.
We don't get bullied here, and we think this is an intimidation tactic.
Jim Walsh, the head of the state Republican Party, he says sanctuary policies only work to undermine federal law meant to keep Americans safe. And he says that it puts the state at risk of significant economic damage.
Yeah, so that's right, because the feds will hold back money. So a Como poll was done about ICE ramping up operations in Seattle. I don't know how many people filled it out. What did they say?
I think it was like 4,000.
Okay. How do you feel about ICE increasing operations in the Seattle area? 73% approved, 25% disapproved. Each case is different, says 2%. 109 days remaining. There were 3,750 votes on the thing. Okay, well, those are the people that are, watching Como to give you that number. So I'm assuming you're coming in with probably older demographic living in certain areas, but that's where they get that number from. So the idea of not helping ICE, that's fine. I understand. You want to set that up. I know that you can separate the federal dollars from the state dollars. But at the same time, if you've got somebody and ICE says, listen, the guy, can you hold him for us because we're coming in to get him because he's wanted for murder in Honduras, or he's wanted for this or that, or he's been sexually assaulting kids or whatever it is. Can you hold him? And the city's like, no, we're not doing you any favors. Okay. Well, that's going to make it that much harder. Then ICE has to go around and go try to find the guy somewhere, possibly going into some place where there's other people that are in wherever that person is staying. And then they sweep them all up. But, I get the idea. You're not going to assist them, but you're going to just make their job a little harder. So that's what's happening, and ICE has to be able to get there and find them. But you're going to get the mayor not wanting to be bullied. You're being bullied, Mr. Mayor, by a small group of people that you so desperately need to support you, because Katie Wilson probably has them. So if you actually in any way show any sort of distance between Katie Wilson and her position of what she wants to do, well, then within that little space between the two of you, that's where you're going to feel some pain. So he's playing the best card right now, which is Trump's bad, Trump's evil. Anything that Trump wants to do, I want to go the absolute opposite of that. So that's where we are in Seattle. And, of course, they're going to go into Boston. That's going to be their first big move. They're rolling into Boston with ICE coming in there, and then they're going to go Chicago. They've already worked in L.A. I think over 1 million people have self-deported, and the ICE folks under Tom Holman have, I think, swept up about 300,000. So it's amazing that this is still this big story that people keep gravitating to. If you came into the country illegally, you broke a law. Yes, you came in and then you're not going back in order to be able to go before your judge for an asylum hearing. You're here illegally. That's the rule. You're not following the rules. That's the case. And they say, you talk to Tom Holman, he'll say, we're going and getting violent criminals that have committed crimes. But you can see in certain cities that are sanctuary cities, you know you can't be arrested. So that's where you get more drug dealing. That's where you get more sex trafficking in the sanctuary cities, because they know they kind of get a little bit of a pass and no one's going to ask them where they're from. The Seattle Times has their survey that was given, I think. The city asked for money from the state to do a survey about 2 years ago. And it was an interesting article. I forget who had it. Oh, Danny Westmead said, you've all these parents leaving. Why don't you ask them why they're leaving? Wouldn't it be a good idea to do a quick survey to say, I see that you're going away. You've taken your kid out of the school. Why? So we can fix the problem. They didn't, and they had no idea why people were leaving. So then they got some money to do a survey, and I think they sent it out to 15,000 people altogether. And the survey comes back, and what you find is that 80-some% of parents say that they are thinking, I think it was 84%, say they're considering leaving the Seattle School District. 60% are considering leaving. 90% that did leave said it was because of the quality of the education. They don't want their kid in the school. They don't think the discipline is being administered. And they also believe that the stuff that's being taught is not benefiting their child. So they leave. Total number of parents that have left. The school district continues to see a decline in the total enrollment. So they got a problem with the quality of their education. And I remember reading, and I saw this a while ago, this is during the whole lockdown thing where they were really into all of this equity stuff. The superintendent, when it came to grading. Now, this is during the lockdown. This policy change, this is for grades. This policy change is an accurate understanding of the situation that everybody is in. And here's what she says. This is the superintendent, Juneau. She said, this policy change, again, this is from a while ago, is the correct one for the Seattle schools because grading is one of the greatest sources. Get this. Grading is one of the greatest sources of inequity for students furthest from the educational justice. This issue has become even more elevated during this time. Grades are awarded on the basis of privilege. This approach is consistent with our strategic plan of Seattle excellence. An A should be the only grade that should be given to students who engage in complete. So they were basically, and then they're just giving everybody, getting A's for doing a whole bunch of work, getting C's for hardly doing anything at all. And the parents saw this. I asked our good friends over there at the Washington Policy Center to see if they have a new plan. They've gotten rid of the one that they had during the lockdown, and because now they realize we better give real grades so we can determine. But to have the superintendent say that grades are awarded on the basis of privilege. What the hell does that even mean? And it's the greatest source of inequity for students, furthering educational justice. You want to know why parents leave? Because you have that kind of mumbo-jumbo garbage. And we're not going to give grades because it's not fair to the kids. So, okay, then how do they end up getting educated? Well, they don't. Less than 50% of the kids in schools are reading at grade level, but yet still their graduation rates are up. So it looks like they're just actually having students go through their program and then being, functionally illiterate. Half of them unable to read. If that superintendent were a surgeon, the malpractice against the superintendents and anybody that's in there running those Seattle schools, they would have their license taken away from them. But ultimately, the marketplace will speak, and the marketplace says, we're leaving. So their enrollment is down from a high of, 52,000 down
52,000 in 2020, 49,000 this year.
Okay. And in the Times, it said, we expect that to stop. Why do you expect that to stop if it's already started going that way? The people I feel most sorry for are parents that can't afford alternatives like a private school. The Catholic schools that do have tuition and support for parents, that's great. People are moving to homeschooling. They're moving to private school because your child's education is really one of the most valuable gifts that you can give that kid if you want that child to be able to succeed. So the Seattle School District will continue to struggle until they actually start providing good quality education. And have we heard from Superintendent Chris Rakedahl yet?
No, we have not.
Love to know what he thinks about the declining school grades, but still no answer yet. How often do we write to the superintendent of schools, Jeff?
I mean, it's been a couple of weeks. I could write him again.
Yeah, let's send him out another one. Oh, let's see if he's on the phone.
Greetings.
Oh, hey. Is it Chris Rakedahl? Who's on the phone?
I'm Chris Rakedahl, Superintendent of Public Schools for the beautiful state of Washington.
Ah, great. Hey, oh, Teeny's excited too. I'd like to have a little friendly debate with you
about...
about...
It's not a debate we're going to have today.
Oh, okay. Well, I was hoping we could talk about that thing because I've seen a lot of stuff in the news.
If you're like me, you've read a lot of news, you've watched a lot of news.
Yes, I have. I've read a lot.
Yes. I've been reflecting a lot about the pandemic.
Okay, we're not talking about that anymore, but...
We have different opinions about that, and that's okay.
Oh, good. Then I don't think you have any problem coming on. It'd be good to have him on. All right, let's go over to Nate over there. Nathan?
All right, John, Bellevue to Everett is down to 50 minutes. North 405 is heavy between 520 and 522. Then you're going to clear out right away until you hit that Alderwood interchange. And then the backup on I-5 north of that interchange is thinning down. In fact, we're no longer backed up into South Everett. Seattle to Everett is down to 45 minutes. Now North 5 slows from Northgate through Linwood. Coming the other way, Linwood to Seattle is just 25 minutes. You got just a minor backup there in Linwood. And then you're packed from Avena Boulevard to I-90. That's a really good drive for this time of day. We cleared that stall from the Ship Canal Bridge as well. Crossing the lake from Bellevue into Seattle is 20 minutes on 520. We're at 25 minutes on I-90. Bellevue to Renton, plan on 35 minutes. It is packed from 520 all the way down to the VMAC in Renton. Seattle to Federal Way has improved to 50 minutes. You're still solid from Interurban Avenue down to State Route 516. And Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway has also improved to 50 minutes. It is packed from 405 to just past 516 before you catch a break. And then heavy again south of Highway 18. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I've been talking about being a patient at Longevity Medical Clinic since 2009, where they're helping me. I know I'm aging. We're just slowing down the process, trying to keep the big bad stuff away, like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, because as my father's given me many great characteristics and wonderful advice, he's also dealt me kind of a bad hand when it came to some heart problems. So I have to watch cholesterol. Plus, I have to watch I don't want to have a stroke. He had one early in life, and all of this stuff is sort of genetically tied in there. And so I kept telling Nick, hey, I'm going to Longevity. And she said, what about me? And I thought, you're right. So I got Nick signed up at Longevity Medical Clinic. So we'll both have a long, healthy, happy life. And we get a chance to have wonderful arguments, because there's nothing like being married to a Greek woman when you quickly learn there's no way to win the argument. You just simply talk, let them talk while you stand there and listen. And we will not be arguing about the fact that Longevity Medical Clinic will be there for us for the long haul. I love working with my doctor there. You will as well. I'll keep you up to date with what's happening with Nick and what she's doing over there as well. But take that free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
A serial killer on the prowl for teen girls in the Pacific Northwest. At least 2 escaped.
She literally crawled out of her grave. Just a miracle that she survived.
Hear their stories. Follow Stolen Voices of Dole Valley now.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. The Seattle Public School District welcomes back students tomorrow as it still is navigating a series of challenges. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports from Kimball Elementary.
Interim Superintendent Fred Podesta says SPS will focus this year on early education, better math skills for middle schoolers, and access to higher education for graduates.
It's really a joyful day, the first day of school, so welcoming students, welcoming teachers. Teachers have been working hard to get their classrooms ready.
However, SPS still faces an $80 million structural budget shortfall next year and an unfinished new strategic plan. At Kimball Elementary in South Seattle, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Right now, the district is still considering fewer bus routes and possibly larger classrooms next school year to balance that budget. A federal judge orders a makeover of Google's search engine, but as CBS legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum explains, that judge refused the government's request to break up the company.
The ruling requires Google to no longer enter into distribution agreements where Google becomes the default browser for, say, Apple and Samsung, and Google will be required to share some of the data it acquires whenever people conduct a Google search. Similar antitrust cases have been brought against Apple, Amazon, and Meta.
Public health data that disappeared from government websites is coming back online. The information vanished after President Trump signed executive orders to remove gender ideology and DEI programs. The Washington State Medical Association and other groups sued, saying all kinds of data had disappeared.
And it's not gone because it was wrong, and it's not gone because it was outdated. It's gone because of a political pressure from the administration.
That is Association President John Bramall telling us under a settlement the information is supposed to be put back online. Security officers across King County say they might strike. The members of SEIU 6 rejected a contract offer that included a 30-cent raise. They protect major sites like hospitals, tech campuses, and transit centers. Talks resume later this month. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk coming up on 5:32. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, Seattle Sports has the update. Bellevue to Everett and Seattle to Everett are both hovering at 45 to 50 minutes. Linwood to Seattle is just 25 minutes. Got a minor back up there in Linwood, and then it's packed from Ravenna Boulevard to I-90. Now, crossing the lake from Bellevue into Seattle, looking good. We're right around 20 minutes on both routes. North 5 jams up approaching the West Seattle Bridge into downtown. Bellevue to Renton plan on 35 minutes. It's heavy from 520 all the way down to the VMAC. South Center to Bellevue's at 25 minutes. You're slow from South Center through the Renton S-curves. Seattle to Tacoma is just over an hour. Now you're really thick along South Center down to 516. Then you'll break free until you hit about South 304th, and then from there, it remains crowded all the way down to State Route 16. Tacoma to Olympia, 40 minutes. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is at 50. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exterior. Some hazy sunshine tonight. Tomorrow morning clouds and then more afternoon sunshine. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s for most of us. The foothills, though, in the mountains are going to be a little bit hotter. There's a heat advisory there. Right now, 75. Actually, just jumped up to 76 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Okay, with the John Curley Show and the spinning of the Wilcox Flame Farm Eggs recipe wheel. Teeny, if you would please be so kind to spin the wheel, because all the names of all the players are on the wheel, and it spins around as Teeny spins it. There we go, and all the lights come around. It's quite the lovely sight. There, the kids love it. And look at who's going to land on. Right on, looks like... Aaron at the last minute. Didn't see that coming.
I'm watching Cal Raleigh, 3-2 count.
No, go ahead. You can do both.
Yeah. It's a big moment.
You want to pause?
No, it's okay.
You can pause.
No, it's okay. I made a really good bagel.
You should watch this.
Okay.
3-2.
3-2.
Who's on the mound for the Rays?
Rasmussen.
Set.
Hey, get up!
Well, that's going to make you feel like eating an egg.
51 for Cal Raleigh. That just happened.
Wow. Right there in front of all
radio.
of us. How about that?
All right.
Whoa.
Right back in it.
All right.
2-1.
You worked up an appetite on that pitch, and you want to probably satisfy that with a big, fat Wilcox egg.
Made a really good bagel breakfast sandwich over the weekend.
Yes.
It was scrambled with some Beecher's cheese, bacon and avocado. And cream cheese also on that sucker.
A lot of
it was
on there.
Very filling.
Very filling. All right, that's your Wilcox Family Farm Eggs recipe, plus also a home run.
How about that? 51. Hold that trident, Cal.
There you go. By the way, I hate the nickname, and I don't think he likes it either.
Big Zumper?
Yes.
He likes it.
Okay.
He has a sponsorship with Honey Bucket.
Yeah,
now.
I know.
He's fully
I saw his mom
it.
get interviewed. She's like, I didn't really want to talk about that.
Like it.
No,
yeah,
I wouldn't
he's okay
either.
with it.
The scatological humor I could do without. Speaking of something like that, here's Como
Back
News.
to back.
What? Whoa!
Sorry to interrupt.
Now
Sorry to interrupt.
knotting it up against the Tampa Rays. 2-2.
Hey now.
We are your source for FM coverage.
That's right.
I love how we do our play-by-play. No details.
That's awesome.
All right.
Whew.
Now to other news. Denny Blaine, after Labor Day, they had a nude sit-in. Yes. It took place yesterday.
Since the middle of August, Denny Blaine Park has stood divided by this tall green fence, requiring clothes on the upper grass.
It's a non-masturbating fence.
That's right.
They put it up to stop people from, dating themselves. Mm-hmm. So you can't see anything in there. You can only imagine. Mm-hmm. So don't look. Big green gross fence.
Area while making the lower beach clothing optional. It was installed after a judge ordered the city of Seattle to come up with a plan after neighbors sued the city over illegal sexual acts caught on video within the last year. Some park users say the fence is a helpful step.
There has been people up on this upper level who are pleasuring themselves and kind of gawking down.
Dozens gathered at the park on Labor Day.
They say it's totally natural. Menstruation. But just try doing it in front of your friends. See, then all of a sudden, that's not so natural.
No.
Understanding of the issue at hand, while also in agreement that bad actors need to be held accountable.
I think following park policy and actually having rangers would really mitigate the situation a lot.
Now, Mayor Bruce Harrell's office tells KOMO in a statement that the city has, quote, significantly increased park ranger and staff presence, end quote, after the fence was put in. However,
it's clearly not working.
Lee Keller, who represents the Denny Blaine Park for All group that's asking the city to close the park to bring a halt to the illegal activity, calls the fence a failure and agrees with park goers that real enforcement is needed.
The neighbors want the law upheld. They want the city to start upholding the law.
Okay. You get mugged. Right. Remember when Cam Higbee got assaulted and they said, we don't respond to and we're not going to charge for misdemeanor assaults. You think the cops, you've been beaten up or something, your car's been broken into. The cops have a choice. Go over there while some guy's, going to town on himself or go, respond somewhere else. They don't have enough police. That's not a priority call. They don't care.
No.
They're not going to show up at that thing.
But they have been. I actually read on Reddit this morning, somebody who was at the nude sit-in yesterday wanted to give a shout out to the cops that were patrolling yesterday. He said they were happy to be there. The people there were happy to have them there. They admitted that, this is kind of awkward, but, we're just here to make sure nobody's doing anything lewd. And so they have been, the emphasis patrols have been happening.
Would it help if they had cameras set up and they took pictures? And then you had a picture of a guy, ding-dong-a-loo in there, whatever. And then you just take a photo of that, and then you put it up. Like, look at this guy. He's a serial masturbator.
Shame him, yeah.
Would that work?
I think so. But here's the thing. Most people, they believe that Lee Keller and that contingent, it's not, they don't want, they're not just trying to get people to stop, dating themselves.
Right.
They want the beach back. They want the neighbors to have the beach, for the people that live in the neighborhood and not the nudists that have kind of claimed it.
And they've had it longer than the neighbors.
Exactly. So they're using that.
The fence looks like an eyesore.
It is. And it separates basically a third of the park is on the beach side of the fence and 2/3 of it is on the other side.
Where is David, the naked mailbox salesman? We haven't heard from him since he came on before.
I heard from him yesterday.
Yes.
He said spending time with his Frisbees, which means he's, smoking doobs.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't make it to the sit-in, I think, but I haven't heard from him yet today.
Okay, here's my suggestion for the city of Seattle. You do this at 7-Elevens and stuff. They'll play classical music or something to keep people away. Think, okay, what would cause most men to be completely flaccid? Not even Longevity Medical Clinic could help them.
Okay.
Just so you got the green wall, which is sort of unattractive, but you get used to that. But you close your eyes over it, and then just have like this playing the whole time.
Is that Yoko?
Yeah.
Nice, Nate.
Actually, that's probably not the best thing. That might have the reverse effect. I'm sorry. How about this one? Here's Yoko Ono with No, No, No.
Let me take my scarf off.
Yes, it
No,
is.
no, no. Yes, yes, yes. Don't help me. Help me. I can't do it, and you know it. Don't touch me. Touch
Okay, this doesn't work either.
No. By the way, just heard from David, the mailbox guy.
Good.
He said the Rangers asked them in 2 weeks what they have seen. The neighbors have cameras that face the 2 lower levels of the beach. There are actually 3 cameras recording everything we do. Give me a call if I can help. So essentially, he's saying they do have cameras. But again, the true problem is the neighbors want all the nudists out.
I can't believe they let them have cameras in there.
Well, I guess he probably means from the neighbor's balcony, the beach-facing neighbors.
Okay, but they're not. No one's taking video of the people that are walking around all nude.
I mean, I guess I don't think it would technically be illegal for a neighbor to have their camera turned towards the beach.
That's true, because you are in a public space.
Yeah, and they're looking, and they're, in their mind, they're trying to find somebody doing something illegal so they can send that to the cops to further their case.
Yeah, and I'm sure the city of Seattle is going to take the person, step over the guy that's doing the Fenny lean, step right over the guy that's been stabbed in order to then grab the guy that's been grabbing himself, and you go before a judge. They're never going to enforce this. No. So the whole thing is just a charade. It's like, oh, people are upset. Okay, we'll send cops driving by. And then the people that are there are like, hey, there's still a lot of gross people,
hanging out in the parking lot.
Yep. The main push is coming from the Lee Keller fans that have Lee in there as their advocate. They don't want to have to look at that. They don't want to have to be involved in that. Well, how about the people that in other neighborhoods with just giant broken down RVs sitting out front?
Right.
How about the people in Ballard, or how about all the homeless camps and stuff like that? You're not going to, that's just part of it. It's endemic part of the problem when you do not enforce laws, or you look the other way, or you make excuses for it. So
of all the problems in Seattle, this is
a low down the bottom. By the way, did she ever get to the Yoko Ono part where she's singing like Taylor Swift? She ruined the Beatles. She ruined the Beatles. Ruined the Beatles. Oh, God.
Oh, she just ruined us.
Sorry about that. Here's Nate. So checking traffic. Nate,
Yipper Home Comfort Alliance has the update. Bellevue to Everett and Seattle to Everett. Right around 45 minutes each. 405 still pretty crowded between 520 and 522. North 5 still slows from Northgate through Linwood. Linwood to Seattle, just 25 minutes. Still just got this minor backup in Linwood. And then it's bumper to bumper from about Ravenna down to I-90. North 5, you're jamming up, approaching the West Seattle Bridge in the downtown. Bellevue to Renton's at 35 minutes. You're still heavy from about Northeast 8th and Bellevue down to the VMAC. North 405 still slows from South Center through the Renton S-curves. Seattle to Federal Way, 40 minutes. It's heavy at Interurban Avenue all the way down to State Route 516. And the Valley Freeway, Renton to Puyallup at 45 minutes. And we're pretty solid from Renton all the way into Sumner. Save 50 to 75% by combining tax credits, rebates, and incentives on a new heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone. We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time, like car wash. Right now, you can save 20% on the Armor All Complete Car Wash Kit. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone. We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time, like car wash. Right now, you can save 20% on the Armor All Complete Car Wash Kit. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It was about 10 years ago when Albert was told his knee was shot.
For you, no running, no jumping, no skiing, no da-da-da.
So he made a decision.
I think I ran around 13,000 miles since that.
Albert went to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I had my knee on when I was 78. Now I'm going to be 89, and it's just as strong.
Yep. 10 years later, the knee works like a charm. At your age, aren't people supposed to be slowing down?
Well, they're supposed to, but not if you work with Dr. Wagner. He doesn't have any sympathy for that.
And now, Albert tells anyone who will listen that whether it's a shoulder, elbow, wrist, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine.
My last visit with Dr. Wagner, I remarked on my knee. I said, I can't believe it's been 10 years. And it's almost like it's a new knee.
Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop this week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
There are 5 things money can do for you: growth, liquidity, cash flow, protection, and tax advantages. Don't miss an opportunity because your current retirement plan only focuses on 2 or 3 of them. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Improve the security of your home with Lake Washington Windows and Doors exclusive break-resistant glass technology. Get a free quote at lakewashingtonwindows.com, a name you can trust.
The John Curley Show mailbag is brought to you by Pendergast Law.
Stalling for Teeny. Is she ready? Everybody in place? Thank you, Teeny. We'll get to later today. But first, Hudson wants to sing us into the song, Joe, and help him with that little part he seems to struggle with. Here we go, Hudson.
I remember.
you can see.
On the mailman to be mess with me.
That's right.
On the mailman. Everything new on the mailman. Bring the mail to you.
Look at what I got. Huh? They took down our hoop.
Well, we took it down proactively.
Because we knew. Listen, you're getting weak on me. Ask for forgiveness. You know that?
Yes, but they would have thrown it away.
Heard it. Move on. Moving on. All right, we get to let it first take care of all the rest. Here we go.
Jesse B says, good afternoon, gentlemen. Thanks for being live yesterday. Did Nate get his Snickers?
Yes, he did. He got all 3 Snickers bars, and then he kept one, gave the other 2 back to us. Joe and I put them in the freezer, and then we ate them during the 4:30 hour.
Yes, we did.
Doug in Mount Vernon says, Nate gave back 2 Snickers bars to avoid the payola rule. Also, to fill your car with rats, and put some marijuana in there first. Easy.
Yum!
Sean in Eatonville says, I love the Irish, and you are the best on the air.
Oh.
Thanks for the show yesterday. You're proving wrong the old saying that an Irishman is good for nothing but dragging his knuckles.
Wait, I've never heard that expression before. 425 in the UK Green Party says, wait, what? I didn't hear anything after you mentioned boobs. I like boobs.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alan B says, soon.
By the way, here's the joke for you there, 425. How do you make a guy fall in love with 5 pounds of fat? Put a nipple on it. There you go. And I'll be here all week.
Alan B says, soon Brian Oakley Buckaroo will become unwoke and realize that Nate Connors deserves his own show. Make KIRO Radio great again.
Wow. Who's that?
Who said that?
Yeah.
Nate gets his own show?
I'm in.
Alan B.
Alan B knows what he's talking about, baby.
How about Artie Duck says, good morning, John. I'm watching you on YouTube. How you doing today? I'm good, Artie. You know, Joe and I both agreed. Felt like we've been here for a long time. Didn't it?
Gotta come in later tomorrow.
I can't imagine what it felt like listening to this.
Oy.
On Denny, you gotta feel bad for people listening to this show.
Denny Blaine, Brian in Arlington says, give them all cocaine and whiskey.
Oh, that'll do it to him. Dwayne, the QFC says, just put a fence around Seattle. Thank you, Dwayne.
Lunchbox Trauma 425 says, dang, John, thanks for the earworm.
Oh, the Flipper song. I wouldn't do that to you again. Barbara, the 425 says, oh my gosh, that song. I sent my first fan letter to Luke Halpin, Flipper's friend. So embarrassed. He didn't write back.
Pamela in Black Diamond says, now the kids can just whack each other with their Stanley Cups.
That's right. That'll work just well.
And now it is time for the letter of the day.
Letter of the day.
This comes to us from 360, whose name I need to get. But he writes in to say, I just want to let you guys know that my Basset Hound Waffles really enjoyed the fellow who plays taps each night. This is her responding to the story yesterday.
Oh. Wow.
You know I love Basset Hound.
Let's skip ahead of the good part.
Is smarter than he.
This is the stupidest show. It was always like, what's that, Flipper? It's just basically a wet lassie.
It was a...
Okay.
Under the sea.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
Didn't write no more.
Didn't write no more.
She left the bloomer hanging round my front door.
Come on, Nate, get your own show.
All right, here it is. Global Credit Union has our update. Bellevue to Everett is at 40 minutes, 405. Still a little crowded between Kirkland and Totem Lake. Seattle to Everett, you're down to 35 minutes. Not much left in your way. A little crowding through Shoreline and Mount Lake Terrace. Linwood to Seattle, right around 25 minutes. Still got this minor backup in Linwood. And then you're free until you hit the U District. And from there, it's packed in the downtown. Bellevue to Renton, plan on a half hour now. It's heavy from 520 to the VMAX still. North 405 still slows from South Center through the Renton S-curves. Seattle to Federal Way, you're down to 35 minutes. We've got a new crash, South 5 on the Puyallup River Bridge, taking up your left lane. You're backed up to Highway 18. And Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeways at 40 minutes. Still pretty solid, though, between Renton into Sumner. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
The Northwest's trusted news source,
KIRO News Radio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, we've got a new administration. What have we seen as a result at the IRS?
Well, the result that I think everyone has seen is, unfortunately, reduction in staff.
And yet people think that because of those reductions, they're in a better spot.
Well, it's not necessarily the case, because the IRS is still going to work with the staff that they have. And in fact, their collection activity is going up.
But now is also the best time to get something done that could be favorable to the taxpayer who owes.
It's very interesting. I've had 2 cases now that I was able to get settled with the IRS fairly quickly and with some excellent results. I think they're just trying to get any case where there's a real live person working on it through the system quicker. They're needing to handle a lot more cases. The caseload isn't going to slow down.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Yikey Wawa.
What?
My hot water.
Yeah?
Not so hot.
Water heater trouble?
It's not working.
We can fix that.
This week?
How about today?
Apollo Plumbing really is ready right now.
Especially when it comes to water heater replacement.
Think I need a new one?
Is it more than 10 years old?
It is.
Probably so.
Doesn't heat like it used to.
It runs out?
All the time.
That's a warning sign.
Uh-oh.
So are little leaks.
But Apollo can get me a new one?
Installed today by our clean screen trained and trusted plumbers. They're water heater experts.
But I probably got to pay a rush fee.
No extra charge.
You make this too easy.
We'll even haul off the old one.
A new water heater.
Same day. That's the Apollo Plumbing way.
This is going to get my budget in hot water.
Got you covered there too.
How?
Our available payment plans.
I don't have to wait?
Or take cold showers.
You are a lifesaver.
Call us this morning. You'll have hot water today.
That's the Apollo Plumbing way.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
Care Partners Senior Living is growing. Amanda here. We are very excited to introduce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, and North Creek Bothell, bringing compassion